in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Hello? Can you hear me? It's been such a long time, holy moly. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's been a long time. I've been sitting here for 2 whole years waiting for you guys to come back. Oh, man. You're a little quiet, am I? My audio's good on my end, I think. Hello, welcome everybody. We're picking up right where we left off, believe it or not. You're plenty loud? Okay. Maybe too loud. Some would say too loud. But no, welcome. Hope you guys have all been well. We are back for another year of RWBY with Volume 9, Chapter 1. This is going to be my thoughts, theories, speculations, and overall discussion of the chapter and the intro. So I am so nervous right now, by the way. I don't know why. Like, I usually don't... I never stream on YouTube. My primary platform to stream, particularly games, is on Twitch. So whenever I stream on a platform that I usually don't stream on, I get, like... I get so fucking, like, I'm actually, like, really nervous right now, and it's been, like, 2 years, so I'm just like, bro, do I remember how to do this? Like, you know what I mean? Am I gonna fumble the bag? Am I gonna mess everything up? Are people gonna enjoy this? Is this gonna be entertaining, etc., etc.? So, like, I'm, like, really nervous right now, but, I'm really happy to be back. I really hope you guys are, have been doing well over the last 2 years. You know, it's been a long-ass time. A lot has happened, for a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and so I wanted to go live just kind of early before we jump into the content in the conversation, just to say what's up. Yeah, Chaircoon's here, big chillin'. We've added some homies to the mix ever since. So yeah, that's been great. But yeah, hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully we can kind of pick up where we left off. Things are still looking good for the show and everything. Hopefully you guys have all been well and have been looking forward to getting back into RWBY, because it has been a bit of time. Yeah, I got an entire posse. They're basically all like characters from Genshin. You guys probably can't see it that well because my mic, but the gang's all here. But yeah, but yeah, I know, like, the last 2 years have been pretty hectic overall, so I just wanted to, first and foremost, say that I'm happy that you guys are even able to be here, because I'm sure the world has kind of affected people in different ways where, you know, some people, you know, struggled over the last couple of years. Some people probably are no longer into RWBY and so on and so forth. So, you know, myself too, like, I've kind of gone through a bunch of different things over the last 2 years. I've fallen in and out with content. I've gotten into certain things. I've gotten out of certain things. But yeah, it's just nice to get that tempo, like build up that tempo again, and just try to find my groove and remember how things used to be. You know what I mean? Like, this used to be like clockwork. Like, every year a new volume of RWBY, a new live stream discussions and everything like that. But it's been such a long time. We've never waited this long for another volume. So I've just been trying to, like, get back into, like, snap back into the step of things overall. But yeah, hopefully you guys have all been well. Hopefully you guys have all been enjoying the return of RWBY content in various forms, like the episodes. I know I've seen a few people put out, like, reviews and discussions, and a couple live streams that have happened in the last week. So hopefully everyone's just trying to, like, enjoy the content as it's coming out, because, like, after this we don't know when things are going to pick up again for, like, volume 10, and I know they're working on the Justice League movie and all that stuff. So at least for right now, like, there's been a lot of distractions, I would say. For those who don't know, at least for me, I got into Genshin Impact. Like, I got into Genshin during volume 8. So Genshin Impact came out in 2020, September 2020, and then a month later RWBY Volume 8 came out, and then RWBY ended and never came back, and Genshin has basically taken over my in terms of my general, like hobbies and interests. Genshin has been at the forefront of that for the last 2 years, which has been great. Like, honestly, I'm just kind of like, I'm just chilling. Like, to me, like, Genshin has been, like, the perfect distraction, because that used to be RWBY for me, and now RWBY's coming back into my life, and I'm just like, but RWBY, wait, I can explain. And I'm just trying to, like, balance the two out, at least for this volume. But no, it's been great. Like, Genshin's been amazing. I actually made a second YouTube channel. For those who don't know, I have MurderofBirds Impact YouTube channel, which focuses, like, primarily solely focused on Genshin Impact, which has been great as well, just because I've been able to still, like, produce content and stuff like that. All right, give me 1 second, gamers. I just need to look into something. All right, I got you. Holy shit. Yo, I had to do a double take really quick, but Ayo Laxzone, I loved your Kutiko no Basket reaction videos. I can't even believe you're in here. Like, where the hell did you find me, dude? Holy shit. I was like, wait a minute. Is that who I think it is? I had to just, like, double check on your channel, but yo, appreciate you stopping by, man. Sheesh. Wow. That's awesome. I've been watching you for years. Really? Holy damn, dude. You learned something new. Dude, the last 2 years really be out here, dude. Jesus. Yo, that's wild, bro. Like, I discovered you, like, in the last year. I think during the hiatus. I feel like 2020 just bled into 2023. I don't even really remember the last 2 years, if I'm being completely honest. But, oh my God, that's so crazy. That's wild. I had no idea. The past 3 years don't exist. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, actually. But oh my God, it's so good to have RWBY back, though. Like, it's been... Yeah, I'm getting back into anime. I started recording some stuff. I started watching Erased, which I love. I'm 2 episodes in right now with Erased. I love it. It's really solid so far. I'm getting back into Attack on Titan because I want to catch up and pick up where I left off with after season 2. I haven't seen anything beyond that. I watched the Beastars. That was great. And so I'm just trying to branch out because like honestly, like being dead ass, like the last 2 years of no RWBY made me think, Arnold, you should probably do more than just RWBY and RVB, even though it's worked for you for so long. And I'm just like, I used to do anime back in the day with like Naruto and Hunter x Hunter and like back before like reaction videos were a thing on YouTube. So I'm working on things behind the scenes before I'm actually ready to announce anything. Yeah, I want to see Arcane. I'm a big League of Legends fan. I don't know shit about the lore, but I've been playing League of Legends since 2013. So I know the characters at least to an extent. But yeah, but how have all of you guys been? What'd you guys think of chapter 1? Bro, there's so much stuff to talk about. I'll be dead ass. Like, this week I got more out of the intro than I did out of the episode, just because like we were fed breadcrumbs over the last 2 years with the first episode. Like, by the time the first episode came out, we had already gotten like half of it. Right? So, like, we only got, like, half of the first episode in terms of new content, but the intro was everything and more. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be mainly talking about the intro in this episode. It's so good. Like, this is one of the intros that, like, I don't know what the hell's gonna go on. I feel like it spoiled everything, but also nothing, because I can't really interpret what's going on in it. But because it's literally, like, Alice in Wonderland, it's just so cool to just, like, interpret, like, what one thing could mean to another thing and the characters and stuff like that. It spoils nothing. Well, I mean, in typical anime fashion, you know, we say that now, but then when the volume's over, we'll watch the intro and be like, hey, look, it said, it told us everything. We just didn't know. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where this goes. Like, I'm really, like, genuinely hyped for the next 9 weeks. And for as long as I can, the live stream discussions will take place every Thursday around this time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, so I'm going to try my best to kind of maintain that schedule like we have in the past, just so you guys can have a place to kind of get hyped and excited and talk about the episodes. Also, I've been hearing and seeing a lot of people wondering and worrying about reaction videos for RWBY, and nothing is changing with RWBY, like, at all. Like, absolutely nothing is changing. Rooster Teeth already put out a journal post statement about, like, reactions. It's going to be similar to volume 6, 7, and 8. For the majority of the fandom that's going to be doing reactions, we put out our reactions 1 week after the episode comes out. So Saturday, I will be putting out my reaction to episode 1 an hour after episode 2 comes out. So the episodes originally come out at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, my reaction will go out, and it'll go out like as a premiere, so you can watch it with other people in the chat. But yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for that. But yeah, of course, watch it on Crunchyroll first and foremost. Like, if you're watching RWBY through my reactions, I feel bad for you. Me of all people. But yeah, like the you know, things are going to be maintained in the same fashion, which is really nice. Okay. So, really quick before we get into it, Gordon Live, welcome back. Thank you so much for the $10 donation. If you think about it, the anime film Spirit Away is like Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, it's like the anime version of Alice in Wonderland when you think about it. Actually, yeah, like actual facts. Hi, Kim Nguyen, welcome back. Long time no talk. Yeah, I know. Long time no stream. But yeah, it's just been really great. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces, like familiar like profile pictures, but a lot of names. I'm like really surprised that the same like audience is still pulling up even after 2 years. Like, I really appreciate that, seriously. But yeah, so we have a lot to get into. I feel like it's going to be a pretty lengthy discussion, but at the same time, not so much, just because, like I said, at least for this week, I feel like the episode was really, what's the word I'm looking for? It was really tame, again, because we got, like, the first 5 minutes or so of the episode from, like, the last couple RTXs. And like I said, I feel like there's more to talk about with the intro, which is really exciting. But next week and beyond, outside of the little snippets that they showed from the 2 trailers, everything is going to be pretty much like brand new. And I feel like it's just going to build up from there. So, the first week was fun. It was just great to kind of get back in touch with the show and see the community pop off on Twitter and talk to people in my Discord and on social media about the episode and everything else in between. So yeah, really, really excited. And like, it's going to be a lot of like references and callbacks and mentions of Alice in Wonderland references and characters and stuff like that, because this is very much like an Alice in Wonderland variation on storytelling for the fairy tales of RWBY. So very, very excited to jump into that and talk about everything. Okay. So how does everything look and how does everything sound? I want to just make sure the quality control is on par before we jump into anything. Give me 1 second. Okay, I don't need this page up, which is good. I won't need that. Everything's good? Okay, cool. All right, so I think we can start then. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to do this real quick. I got to move you over to the side. All right. So I did prep and prime all of my clips and screenshots and whatnot. I'm not gonna put slow mode on just because I feel like the chat, at least for right now, is pretty tame. We have almost 300 people in here, which is great. So I don't think it's like anything too crazy, like 1,000+ people in here. So I don't think I'm gonna have to rely on slow mode, at least not for right now. But if I'm noticing that I can't keep up and I'm reading things in a blur, then we'll pull it back. Arnold, was it harder to get clips off Crunchyroll? Just wondering. No, not at all. It actually didn't feel any different than the Rooster Teeth site, to be completely honest. So, but like obviously, you know, I'm grabbing them for the purpose of like breaking down the episode and talking about it. So, let's see. Yeah, the one thing that I do know, well, here's the thing, like, some people mention, like, RIP to the subs of the episode. The thing is, Crunchyroll might not have the subs, but I'll be dead ass, like, the Rooster Teeth website subs were never in sync. At least, it was very rare that the Rooster Teeth website subtitles were in sync with the episode, and, like, to where I could actually watch it and, like read what's happening on screen at the time. It was always like a delay with the subtitles. Yeah, it didn't have a title either. Like, I actually learned about the title from Eddie on Twitter, which was really funny. Can you turn on the subtitles? No, I can't. These are all pre-cut screenshots and clips. I'm not watching the episode here. So people don't have a misinterpretation. Like, I'm talking about the episode and I'm using clips and screenshots to provide a visual aspect to the commentary. So the live stream discussion is based on the fact that you've already seen the episode. So yeah. Just wanna put that out there. Alrighty. So with all of that said, I think we can jump to also Julia. Oh my God, it's been forever. How are you? I can't believe you're actually here. Hey Arnold, I'm saying this for everyone when I'm here. We missed you. I'm so glad to finally be back. I'll be doing a super chat every week like last time. Hope you also remember the Cat in the Hat book. I came fucking prepared. I don't think I remember what page I was on. I didn't check my last live stream. But if you know, you know. All right? And you know that I know because I had it right here for that exact. I was waiting for someone to mention it and I was like, come on. You thought I forgot? All right, with all that said, you guys are going to lose me from time to time because I do have like screenshots that take up the screen. But I still think that I mean, this is nothing new, but just as a reminder, I will have screenshots on the side here. And then when it's appropriate, I'll have screenshots filling the whole screen so I can kind of get through multiple scenes at once whenever I'm talking about things that are happening. Obviously, feel free to chime in with your thoughts on whatever in the chat to myself, to other people. Super chats are available as well if you guys want to get your question prioritized to be answered as soon as possible. And everything else in between. But with all that said, we're about 20 minutes in. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really, really, really appreciate having you guys here. Like I said, this is going to be happening every Thursday around this time. Aeon Productions, thank you so much for the $8 donation. I appreciate that. Also, you just reminded me I need to pull up my alerts page so I can read those if they have donation, if they have comments attached to them. So give me 1 second. I did. Okay. Hey, figured I'd toss some cash to the person that inspired me to take on this RWBY season with my own discussions and theories. Oh, that's great. Feels great to be doing discussions after so long. Oh, that's really awesome to hear. I hope you enjoy the process. It's really great to just geek out and talk about RWBY with people. So yeah, and I'm really happy to know that I helped make that a possibility for you. But yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate the support. And with all of that said, the first thing that I want to talk about, so we're officially starting the discussion now. I'm actually going to be talking about a completely different show that's irrelevant to what I'm talking about right now. If you guys do not know, I actually found this out a couple of days ago. Rooster Teeth is doing a post-discussion show called RWBY Roundtable. It is hosted on the Rooster Teeth animation site. The first episode is already out. It's about 5 minutes long, and it's called Why RWBY Volume 9 Went Fairy Tale. So this is kind of something that's not very well known. A lot of people don't know about it. This video actually only has 18,000 views at the moment, or the last time I checked. So if you guys haven't seen it, they kind of go in depth. It's the showrunners, it's the writers, it's the voice actors and people that are a part of the process of RWBY behind the scenes. So if you haven't seen it, this is a weekly thing that will be happening, I believe, every Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, or it's going to be happening weekly. So yeah, so there's Aaron Wynn, who's the art director, Lindsay and Barbara, voices of Yang and RWBY, Carrie and Eddie, who are the writers, and then Jack Patillo voiced Junior in like volume 2. And he's kind of like he's like the host of the show. So yeah, every Tuesday. So I just wanted you guys to know about that. If you guys didn't know, they talk about like a lot of the early processes of like how early they thought of the fairy tale ever after fairy tale story with Alice in Wonderland, like during the early like volume 1, volume 2 days. Like, so this was something that they kind of talked about alongside Monty, but you know, obviously it's going to take forever before things are fully flushed out. Like Salem was a character. I think Monty mentioned that Salem was conceived after Team RWBY, but we didn't see her until the end of volume 3 and really volume 4. So it just kind of gives you a lot of extra breadcrumbs of information about the process of how they write everything in. But with all that out of the way, let us jump in to the episode. So first and foremost, I will say, like, this portion here, if you are kind of on top of everything when it comes to RWBY, this is something that was originally showcased as a sneak peek during RTX 2021, I want to say. I think we actually saw this before they officially announced the hiatus of the volume. And so Obviously, this is how the episode opens up. I think it's like a really great showcase because, again, it's so funny how they did this too, because I don't think they obviously they did not intend for RWBY to be on a 2-year hiatus, but the fact that this retroactively gives you context to the last thing that happened in the show before they all fell into the ever after was a really nice touch, because it's kind of like, if there was ever a time that we needed a like mini recap of events that happened, it would be it would be like volume 8 to volume 9. So but yeah, so I actually, you know, we've experienced this. I remember I did my reaction to this when they first showed it during the RTX at home, but I loved overall just the experience of seeing this from a first person perspective. I loved the music that they used. You could hear RWBY's heartbeat. You can hear how adrenaline pumped she is because everyone's dying around her. Her sister just freaking gets attacked and knocked off. She gets knocked off. She thinks she's gonna die. And then there's like a brief moment where she's like, I don't know what the hell is happening. You see like all of these like energy orbs, which they all kind of look like little mini Dragon Balls. I'm sure other people thought that too. And then Neo just comes in with the freaking Superman punch from the side. And I can't really understand Neo's complete logic here, because it's like, for all you know, you're both about to fall to your deaths, and she's like, I want to kill you myself. I don't want the void to end you. I want to see the life leave your eyes before I move on with mine. And then we end up on the island, the bottom right corner there. So RWBY wakes up on the island. We get to see a bunch of the vegetation, the environments, the beach landscape and everything, with the giant shells, and things of that nature. So here's one thing that some of you guys are actually going to be very surprised by, I think, because I was when I saw this on Twitter earlier, and I actually had to make an edit to this, to like my screenshots and clips process. But for those of you who don't know, so you guys see the bottom image, you guys see the 2 suns in the sky. So like a lot of people mentioned, apparently I've never seen Star Wars, right? Okay, so again, I've never seen Star Wars. Yep, you guys can have at me in the comment section. What? You uncultured swine, how dare you? But a lot of people like thought that was a reference to, I guess, Star Wars. Like, I guess there's 2 suns on one of the planets of Star Wars or whatever. But that's actually not the case, because they released the script for the first episode, and those 2 things in the sky are not 2 suns, but those are 2 moons. It says here, in the distance, she can see 2 very intact moons seemingly orbiting each other as they slowly orbit wherever she is. So those are 2 intact moons. It definitely presented those definitely looked like 2 suns. I don't know if they're shining bright enough to be considered suns, but apparently those are 2 moons. So yeah. Those are suns. Hey, take it up with the script, buddy. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just delivering the goods. But yeah, so again, thought that was just a nice little thing to just mention. Yeah, take it up with the script. Take it up with the writers there, buddy. I'm, 2 of them. Let's see. Ruger Rainsberg, Neo falling to her presumed death and still trying to kill RWBY is a mood. True. Also, Kim Nguyen, thank you for the first time donation. Glad to watch these live streams again. Hey, I'm glad to have you and everybody else here. The viewership's going up. We're at 400 viewers now, so thank you guys so much. Share this with your friends, your mutuals, your family, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your brother, your grandma, whoever you think might like one random guy on the internet rambling about RWBY for multiple hours at a time. So But yeah, so we are in the ever after. RWBY transitions, and then this is the transition that we got into the first 5-minute snippet of the episode at last year's RTX. So I was actually at RTX in the crowd. I did a crowd reaction to this for the first time, watching this last year and just kind of seeing the first snippets of the volume, which was really awesome. Like RWBY's interaction with Little, and realizing that this is not just the ever after, so to speak, but a reference to Alice in Wonderland, which was really cool. One thing about this place that I really like is how trippy it is. Obviously, it's not Remnant. It has its own laws, apparently. The fact that there's an endless like time loop, like RWBY's just kind of lost. And I guess this is also kind of a reference to the Lost Forest setting of Alice in Wonderland. I guess there is a Lost Forest setting. Also, I just want to say I'm not very well versed in the Alice storyline because I've been infected by Disney growing up. So like I have like the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland mixed in with like the original story, mixed in with like the movies, like the most recent movies that have happened. And so like I've just been completely screwed. Like I just don't know what the real story is because I've never like delved into that main story itself. There's also the game Alice Madness Returns, which is one of my favorite video games like of all time. Like it's such a fun game, and it kind of, I feel like that's the more accurate portrayal, like the dark and like distorted version of the fairy tale. But yeah, so I just want to put that out there just because I'm not going to have the most informed opinions on the original references and the original creatures and all that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind. Take anything I say in that department with a grain of salt, but I will be referencing and sourcing one of the Alice storylines to base my thought process on. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. But yeah, so we have like the birds over here too. So I'm going to get into, so yeah, so I guess rewinding really quick before I get ahead of myself, the laws and physics of this world are obviously wonky and kind of out of place and not of the norm, right? RWBY's walking through the forest. She's coming out of the end that she just walked through. She does it multiple times. One thing that I really like about this is that she cries, obviously realizing she's probably like dead or she's alone. Her friends aren't around. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's lost. And she starts crying, and then it starts raining. So I'm wondering how the world interacts with emotions, but also how it interacts with intense emotions. Because this happens again where it's raining after RWBY collapses. She wakes up and it's raining again. So I'm wondering if it's in tune to like intense emotions, and whatever emotion is being presented is like the one that the world kind of locks into, so to speak. So I thought that was really cool. When I first saw it, especially, I was like, oh my God, it's raining because she's crying. And the first reference right out the gate, this reminds me of when Alice is like, when she grows too tall, and like from drinking like the growing potion whatever on the table, and she starts crying and it starts raining tears down on the door. And I was like, oh my God, I've seen this before. Clearly I must have. And yeah, so I thought that was a really neat reference overall to just compare like what RWBY was going to, you know, some aspects that I remember from this Alice in Wonderland. Let's see, we got another donation here. Gordon Lied, thank you for the $10 donation. Appreciate that. Yeah, I referenced a few things from this discussion from the Alice in the Looking Glass, I believe, like the movie adaptation with Johnny Depp. I think that was really I love that. Actually, I watched that movie this past summer with Cal at her family's cottage. So that was such a cool movie, and I felt like I was watching Volume 9. At that point, we already knew that Alice in Wonderland was going to be like heavily inspiring Volume 9. And so as I was watching that, I was like, I'm going to look for that in Volume 9. I'm going to look for that in Volume 9. I almost felt like I was spoiling myself in a way, because I was like, I wonder how much of this is going to be translated over to like the source, like what's going to be used as source material for characters or inspirations for plot lines with RWBY. I heard The Looking Glass. Yeah, I mean, I never seen the movie before. I thought it was just entertaining. I'm not going to judge it based on its writing quality or whatever. Like I said, I don't really know that much about the like mainline Alice story, but I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was, you know, it kept my interest throughout the time that I watched it. Gumgar, welcome back. Thank you for the $5 donation. Finally, it's back. The hours of unhinged rambling and theorizing. It's been too long. Thank you for the streams and videos. Hey, thank you. Really appreciate it. I mean, I haven't really been kind of like at my best the last couple of months. And so RWBY being back and just me being motivated to get, like, I've gotten back into RVB. I've gotten back into RWBY. I've gotten back into anime content. I'm just trying to juggle everything and maintain a proper work schedule so I don't kind of overdo anything, and I want to be productive. It's just been great to know that in my absence, upon me returning, people are still looking forward to the content that they know that I'm going to be around for. So I just really appreciate everyone who's been supportive and encouraging and patient more than anything with me, because I know from time to time I haven't deserved it. But yeah, really do appreciate all the support. Let's see. Hey, Pigeon Power. Wow, nice to see you. I forgot what these discussions feel like. How have you been? I've been great. Yeah, we're jumping into the discussion, actually. We've already kind of started, but thank you so much for tuning in, man. Really appreciate you. It's great to just see your name in the chat again. All right, so moving on from there. So I do want to talk a little bit about some of the parallels that I noticed going into this, because I did do a bit of research as well, just kind of, you know, just to kind of double up on these discussions. So this is what is known as a rocking fly, which is likely a reference to the rocking horsefly, also from Alice. A lot of the creatures, I think, are going to be based on different aspects of the creatures in the Alice storyline. And so if any of you guys noticed that, you guys will probably, if any of you guys have seen, you know, Alice in whatever permutation it's in, you'll probably notice some of those references from time to time. But yeah, notice that, like, it's just rocking, just minding his business. And so you got the rocking fly versus the rocking horse fly, which is like the rocking chair of the, like, the rocking chair horse. So that was the initial reference there. Oh, that's yours, Aaron? Yeah, I guess it's still a rocking horse fly, but it's more fly than horse in the literal sense. Oh, that's so cool. Nice. Yeah, I did see your name in the credits. Congrats, by the way. I'm waiting for you to just pop off on Twitter and be like, I did that scene. It's all me. I take full credit. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so this is one reference. Chapter 3 is when it... I'm excited. I'm looking forward. Hey, we have one more week. We just got to brace it for one more week, and then you have your moment to shine. So we have the rocking horsefly. We have these big burbs over here, these fat burbs, which are... Some of you guys probably noticed this already. I saw a lot of people mentioning it when we first saw this clip at RTX, but it's like a... This bird is like a cross between a flamingo and a shoebill. So... It's kind of like the way that it stands is like a flamingo, but the way it looks is like a shoebill, like its beak and, you know, basically its body type and whatnot. So, yeah, these creatures just look really neat overall. I do have my own little theories of like how this work. I don't know how to word it, but I guess I just have my thoughts of like the nature of this world, and I'll talk about that more once we make it to the end of the episode discussion. But yeah, the birds are so freaking ginormous. It was like laughing at RWBY, like, you idiot, you have no idea what you're doing. And then it just kind of goes off and does its own thing. And there's a bunch of them too. Like when you first see the shot of the island, when RWBY's coming out of the coming off of the beach, you see like an entire flock of them just flying off doing their own thing. So yeah. And I like them too. I'm a fan of birds, despite my username. Don't let my username distract you. I'm actually a fan of and lover of creatures of the avian variety. All right, so let's move on from there. We got the mouse, which I'm pretty sure everyone already knows here is a likely reference to it's a dormouse, and it's a reference to the dormouse. This, whether it's the animated version or the CG live action version. Little was great. I mentioned this in my reaction, but I really feel like I really hope they don't kill Little. I hope something bad doesn't happen to this little guy. No pun intended. But it would be so tragic, man. Actually, I think the cat might eat him by the end, because looking at the intro, like the Cheshire Cat reference, like the Cheshire Cat inspired character, Robbie Damon, aka Pancake Boy, is he's kind of having a little fun with the cat. He's having a little fun with the mouse in the opening, which is really funny. I love the cat. I'm sure it was a pain in the ass to animate that thing and get all of its like cool effects in there with like how it breaks apart and reattaches itself. But like, God, man, like, God bless whoever worked on that cat and brought it to life the way you guys did, because it's such a spectacle to look at, and I just want it to be as cool as its inspiration or its reference. But yeah, I loved seeing that. I can't wait to see it in the episode. I'm wondering what episode it's going to be featured in. But it really depends on where they're going to go next from this like beach section of the island, because you have like that one shot that shows like there's like 7 or 8 different quadrants of the island, and so they can kind of go anywhere. And we've seen a few of the snippets of areas throughout the trailers. So in that regard, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of interesting bits as things go on. Bird Gang rise up. Oh yeah, yo, Tiny Bird Programmer, welcome back. Yeah, I approve. Curtis Snap, welcome back. So good to see so many of the old crowd in here. Arnold is still the super rambler. Can't wait to see what you've done, Aaron. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, Aaron, junior animator. So they're popping off this time around with they like transcended RWBY. They went from a fan, a viewer, to now actual crewbie, which is wild. Littlest cat food confirmed. That's what I'm saying. Like, those are the vibes I'm getting. I think at the end of the day, the Cheshire Cat will just kind of play around, like play with its food, but not actually eat it. But I don't know. Like the way Little was talking, I don't know. I'll get into that. So we're gonna jump into this next part here. Oh, also, wait, not yet. So I'm just kind of going through all of the different animals and species throughout the episode that I just want to kind of put my thoughts out there on. So at first, so you guys will see my reaction this weekend, but I was not aware upon watching this that this was the Jabberwocky, or obviously the inspiration for the Jabberwocky, because I was expecting something more like this. Like I don't know. They obviously took the inspiration of it. It's called a Jabberwocker. And so I like its twitchy animation effect, like the after image of it when it moves around. I love the way, and I love the voice of it too. Like whoever voiced the Jabberwocker, I did see it when I watched the episode. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be an ever-present like adversary / antagonist / threat to the characters until, I don't want to say this is going to be endgame, but I feel like this will be like a constant present force that they have to deal with until maybe the end of the journey or towards the end of the journey. But I'm just wondering how exactly they're going to fight this thing. Because another thing that I'm curious about, and I don't know if any of you guys want to chime in on this, but I'm actually wondering if any of them can use their semblances. And I know Weiss mentioned that she was running low on dust, but I'm also wondering if dust would work in this world, considering how dust loses its power when it leaves Remnant's atmosphere. But if they're not on Remnant, technically they're not within the atmosphere of Remnant, unless this is like a pocket dimension within the realm of Remnant. I don't know. Oh yeah, Neo did in the trailer, but they were falling though. They hadn't like established their location yet. So I I don't know. I'm still willing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were in the in-between, so they were fighting in that part of the void. But yeah. Oh, yeah, Neo does use her thing in the trailer. Okay, so I guess semblances do work then. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. She turns into Ruby in one of the trailers. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yep. All right, so, yeah, because I just noticed that no one was using their semblances to fight the Jabberwocker when it first showed up, so. And some of them don't even have, like Yang's missing her arm, Ruby's Crescent Rose is not present. We know where it is, but none of them do. Unless someone made it to where it was and just yoinked it and now has possession of it or whatever. So, yeah, and I can understand them all being tuckered out. Like, they're in this world immediately after falling. So, like, I'm pretty sure this is literally, like, minutes after they fell, I'm assuming. Yeah, their aura does replenish over time, but they've been here enough to catch their breath, so Yang's been here the longest as well, but she doesn't have her arms, so she's kind of like, what do I do? I'm missing half a gun, you know? So, yeah, and then again, I just wanted to show this because this was initially in here as, like, the Star Wars reference, but then I saw the script and I had to plug that in there. But a lot of people thought of Tatooine, I guess, is the world or the planet from Star Wars, but those are apparently 2 moons. So, I mean, I guess it can still remind people of it because no one in the right mind is going to look at that and think, oh, of course those are 2 moons. So everyone thought they were 2 suns until we read the script. But yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way there. So we get the interaction of Ruby Rose and Little, which was so wholesome. And I was getting, like, initial, like, worried vibes about Little because Little's talking about, like, a purpose and that they're too young and they don't have a name to themselves. And, like, I'm just wondering, like, what that means for them as they get older. Like, what the nature of this world is where your name is perceived as your purpose. You know, Ruby told them, she was like, oh, I'm a human, I'm a girl, I'm a huntress, I'm Ruby Rose. And they're like, oh, so Ruby Rose is your purpose? How does one Little? So it's like, whatever your name is, it's what you do. So it's like, it's so weird. It's like, your name is Calculator because you calculate. You know, that's like the closest thing I can think of. But like, it's almost kind of like your name is your function. It's not your identity. And I think the number one question that's been asked in the trailers and even in this episode is, what are you? And it's kind of like hard to answer because it's like, what are any of us? You know what I mean? We're kind of all made up of the same things, but we're all different at the end of the day. And it goes beyond like your name. That's kind of like a very soul searchy kind of question to ask is, you know, what are you? And it's like, you can say what you are objectively, or functionally, but you know, it's a deeper question, I think, than that. A lot of last names have references like that. Yeah, exactly. When Little said stuff about purpose, they really got me confused and wondering. Yeah, like when... Oh, boy. Yeah, I know, Cal. You've been fighting on Twitter about... You've been defending Neo's honor for, like, half of the day. Yeah, that's how surnames came about. Yeah, I guess so. Well, surnames were more so like how you established like your like almost kind of like your quote unquote like your clan, right? Like if you're, I think that's how it worked, right? Or like what house you were from or whatever. Yeah, family trades like smithing and stuff like that. Oh, okay, I see. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. It depends on the culture and region. Yeah. Yeah, so like when Little is like, how does one Little? And I'm like, that's not how that works. Like, at least not in our world. Like, your name is like your sense of identity. And so it's interesting how I'm wondering like what other like people like, and Little also mentions that they're too young, so they don't have a name yet. So I'm like, that's even more weird, because it's like, what do you go by? Like, how do people reference you? You know what I mean? Like what do people call Little if not for Little? You know what I mean? So I'm interested to learn a little bit more about that, and learn about like who gives the name and when is it appropriate and what does it represent, and things of that nature. But yeah, I'm very interested to learn more about, again, the nature of the world, how it functions, and all that kind of stuff, because we're gonna meet more sophisticated characters through the other, like the caterpillar, the Queen of Hearts, and things of that nature. So I'm just interested to see like how they govern, what do they call this? Are those soldiers all called the same thing? Like a title and a number, like soldier number 12, soldier 76. I don't know. Yeah, brown mouse number 24 or something like that. I don't know. Because even in the intro, I'm sorry, not the intro, in the credits, they're just called mouse. Like they're called whatever they are. So like it's just titled mouse, even though Little was given a name. It's like mouse leader, mouse, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm just interested to learn more, because again, the Jabberwocker was just called Jabberwocker. It didn't have an identity. So maybe that's what they do. He's mousing around. Mouse is mouse. Yeah, maybe that's good enough, I guess. They're jabbing, and yeah, it's like, what does a Jabberwocker do? It jabs and it walks. It's like, you know what? That's good enough for me, And so again, I'm wondering if it's more of like a functional thing. Like your name is what you do, and that's that. So yeah. But I love this interaction too with them two, like the and then she pulled the cheese out of the ground like that. I was dying at that one. I don't know why. I just thought it was like they were just like, are you like clear, like just went completely over all their heads. One of the mice fainted. They're like, what? They pulled the cheese out of the ground. Who would have thought? And I'm like, this is silly. I loved it. I loved it so much. Just, I loved how humorous it was. I know everyone just wants RWBY to be this dark, brooding, deep, like freaking, like emo, like I don't care about anything. I just hate my life, and I just went through some tragic stuff, and I want to experience that tragic stuff. So I feel like it's more mature than it actually is. Like a lot of people want that RWBY. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, I don't need that. All right. I like some good vibes. I like some wholesome laughters and whatnot. I don't need RWBY to just be like, I hate everything. I'm brooding and angry and I can't go on. Leave me here. I like the laughs. I like the good times. And a lot of that was throughout the episode, even like with Weiss and Blake, the other mice and stuff like that. I just loved it. I loved it. And we're definitely gonna get edgy RWBY, and I'm ready for that. But right now, just let me have this, okay? Let me have the good times before everything just shits the bed, because we're definitely gonna get there. Another thing I want to say is I have to go to the bathroom, so sit tight, enjoy some wholesome monochrome vibes, and I will be back momentarily. I went through too much water and I'm suffering. Hi, I'm back. Oh yeah, Chaircoon's like hiding behind like 3 different layers of clips right now. Yeah, Chaircoon's just big chilling. He's got the homies, you know. He doesn't need you guys right now. He says hi. All right. All right, you know what? I'll give you guys something. Hold on. There you go. Chaircoon in the flesh, ladies and gentlemen. Don't say I never did anything for you. Anyways, like I said, I'm really happy that they didn't waste too much time. Wait a minute. Holy, wait, are we bringing back the RP? Hold up. Yo, we're bringing back the RP, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, also RIP. RIP to the RP because William Pendragon actually died in the fall of Atlas. Though I am dead, my spirit remains. Restless, I stand here in the afterlife watching events as they unfold. I pray Miss Rose and her friends stay safe and make our sacrifice have meaning. This has been the ghost of Private William Pendragon of the 31st Brigade. Oh my god, that's so funny. They're like, yo, they got Cash App in the they have Cash App in the afterlife. Ah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had a little bit of a hiccup there. Yeah, for those who don't know, William Pendragon was doing like this really like over dramatic like RP donations every time for every discussion during Volume 8. They're like, I'm on the front lines, I'm defending the grounds of Atlas, and then the finale came and then they didn't answer and we were like, oh, I guess he's dead. And here we are 2 years later. Oh my god. That's so funny. Oh man, oh man. Okay. Let us that really just came like out of nowhere. My god. That was great. That took me back, dude. 2 years, man. It really was 2 years ago. I can't believe. That's wild. But yeah, thank you so much for the $100 super chat, William. I really appreciate that. Your sacrifice will not be in vain, hopefully. Fingers crossed that these characters don't lose their way this volume. And yeah, technically 693 days. Yeah. That's wild, man. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is that I was really happy. Hold on, give me 1 second. I hear skips. Wait, what? My audio is skipping. Try refreshing, maybe? Refresh. Yeah, it might have been because, yeah, try refreshing. It might have been because I had a little bit of OBS crash. Like, OBS just kind of, like, pooped the bed for a little bit there. So, yeah. Okay, refreshing fixed it? Okay, Pog. All right, cool. All right, so let me get this thought point out because I've been thinking about this for a little bit. So I was really happy as I watched the episode. I understand some people would have liked to see the interactions of characters coming together, but this was like realistically like a 15-minute episode with about 6 or 7 minutes of it already being information that we knew. So I was actually really happy that they just kind of cut through the reunions and just kind of got everybody together by the end of the first episode. Because I didn't want it to be like okay, episode 1, Weiss and Blake are together. Episode 2, we got to go find Ruby. Episode 3, we got to go find Yang. And then by the time you realize it, we're 4 episodes in and all the characters are, you know what I mean? Like, and there's only 10 episodes. So so I was just really happy that they kind of established that and they got everyone together in a timely fashion. And I loved how they did it too. Like, they gave just enough time for everyone coming together. Like, we got some Weiss and Blake moments, which are kind of rare. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really see them interact all that much. I also loved that Blake had more of like it. I hope it kind of continues as time goes on. Oh my gosh, why is my internet acting up? Hold on, give me 1 minute. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My internet is kind of like coming in and out. It's not even the internet, it's OBS actually. I don't know if it's YouTube. This is my first YouTube stream and I don't know if things have changed with it. But yeah, hopefully that kind of quells itself. All right, hold on, give me 1 second. All right. It's Watts. Damn, Watts from the grave. What were you gonna say? No, I was just basically saying that I'm just really happy that they didn't spend too much time getting everybody together, because that would have taken some episodes away from like the 10 episodes that we have. Like, I didn't want it to be one episode looking for Weiss, one episode looking for Yang, one episode looking for Ruby, and then everyone's together. They kind of just cut the middleman out and just had all of them reestablished in one episode, which was great. But yeah, so that's basically all I wanted to kind of get off my chest and say. Let's see. All right, give me 1 second, chat. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, there are 10 episodes this chapter. This volume, sorry. Yeah, there are 10 episodes where we're one down. Okay, so yeah, so again, these two had their moment to chit chat. I hated how Weiss had the burden of telling everybody what happened, and she just didn't want to. She was like, okay, number one, if I'm going to tell everybody, I'm only going to tell this once, because it's already depressing as it is. But also, I have to be the one to tell everybody what happened, which is, I don't know. It's just really unfortunate because, you know, it's tragic and it's obviously going to hit everybody. It's obviously going to hit Ruby the most, and that's her teammate. So I also really liked the facial expressions. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because Ruby's just been gone for so long, but I just feel like the expressions of the characters, or maybe it's just familial. Like I remember and I miss it. Like Blake's ears like twitching and stuff like that. And just seeing everyone expressive and emotive was just really nice. And having this moment with just Weiss and Blake, though brief, was really great. Cause I was just wondering how what their mindsets were going to be like. And they're already realizing, okay, you fell first and then I fell, but your weapon fell after. And so they're just trying to be like, okay, if you're here and I'm here, then that means our teammates are likely here if they fell. And well, Weiss knows, because Weiss was the last one that she knew of within her team that fell. So she's like, if you fell and I fell, then our other teammates are here and our weapons are here. We just have to find them. So I just like how they wasted no time and they just kind of like put 2 and 2 together and realized that, okay, everything has to be good. We just have to get together and then figure out a plan from there. So yeah, I just really liked this interaction with everybody. And they ended up finding it. I actually really liked this moment here where, like, where she's like, it can't get any worse. And then she's like, that wasn't an invitation. And Weiss actually says, I'm sorry. Like, Weiss was actually trying to be funny in that moment. And Blake was just like, not right now. Okay, this is my weapon. That means I have to go and get it. So yeah, I just really I liked the little moment there with like Weiss was trying to be snappy and funny, and she was like, I'm sorry, this is not the time for this. Hey, what's up, Dan? How's it going, buddy? Thanks for tuning into the stream. Really appreciate it. Weiss is trying to laugh to keep from crying, aren't we all? No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I just really liked these conversational moments between the two of them. We don't get it that often. And, you know, obviously when things pick up and take off, I feel like the conversation and like the focus is going to shift from these characters to like RWBY and Jean and Neo and Alex. I actually think those 4 characters are what the primary focus of this volume is going to be on. Jean, wherever the hell he is right now, RWBY going through her emotions, Alex being like the centerpiece of this fairy tale experience, and Neo because she's kind of an anomaly, but she's got a lot of presence in the opening, and I'm just like, I have no idea what they're planning for her in particular. I have my own thoughts of like how things can turn out for her, which I'll talk about as we go further. But yeah, I just really, really liked how I like how they're just giving us time like this, because I don't know. I doubt this is going to be Blake's volume or Weiss's volume by the end of it, you know? So yeah, like I said, I just really, really enjoyed the little moments that those two had and shared with each other. This was great too. I think this is the first time we heard like a major OST being played for this sequence here. I thought you said 4. Yeah, I did. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which was almost an hour ago. But yeah, I went live a little bit early just to chit chat with people, but the main discussion did happen at 4 p.m. A little after, actually. But yeah, I loved the OST. Also, for those who don't know, Jeff Williams retired from writing music for RWBY, or I guess he might have just retired from music in general. But Jeff Williams is no longer composing or making music for the show. For some of you guys who don't know, it was mentioned over the coming weeks leading up to this volume. But Casey and her band, Martine, and the rest of her gang from her band OK Goodnight are basically taking over for writing and composing music. They made, obviously, the intro song, and I believe Peter Jones, who has done a bit of music for RWBY in the past, as well as Arrowfell, the video game, he's kind of come on board for composing. So they're all kind of just working together and it's like the passing of the torch, right? Like Jeff is passing it on to his daughter, and her team and her music and her vibe is basically picking up where he left off. So yeah, Alex as well. Alex Abraham is also no longer composing the orchestral like scores, like the OSTs for the show. But this was the first major one that I picked up and noticed, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is like the new vibe, the new I guess like the just like music being composed by not like the old guard that's been around forever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I really liked it. I liked this initial music that was playing. It was very cheerful, very playful as well, given all of the shenanigans that are going on. Like Weiss's, like Yang's like stretching and pulling for dear life. Weiss is chopping away, and like the vines just replace it, and she's like, oh my God, I can't do this. My life, please. I love cheerleading Weiss. Like she's just cheering her on. I don't care what anyone says. That is I've seen some people mention that that's not very in character for Weiss. And then I realize, and then I think about the time where she, in volume 2, she was like, so Blake Belladonna, what is wrong? And she's like on the table, like balancing herself on the table. And I'm just like, that is very in character for Weiss. I don't care what anyone says. So I just liked this entire thing, and then the vines pop off, and it's a giant trap orchestrated by super intelligent, scientifically engineered mice that live in the ever after. Yeah, sorry, it was a chair. Sorry, not a table. It was a chair. Yeah, she was like, so Blake Belladonna, and then she's like balancing on the chair, and I'm like, that. Weiss can get that foolish when she wants to. You know what I mean? She walks that balance between serious and silly, and I love it. But yeah, she's like, yeah, woo! And I'm like, oh my God, you can do it, Blake. But yeah, the mice moment, so I don't know how many of you guys watched Red versus Blue, but I mentioned this during my reaction as well, but the leader mice, and he was like, "We've done it. The hunted have become the hunters, and we must like the vibe that mouse was giving off was reminded me of like Beaver Creek from Red versus Blue, which is like two teams that are just kind of like one team versus another team, and they're so extra, man. They're like just so extra, and I'm just like, I love everything about this. It's so good. Yeah, Ruby's like, "Are you drooling on me?" Bah. I loved it. But yeah, it's like, "Yo, GG nerd, GG." But yeah, this leader mouse just reminded me of how extra like the red leader of Beaver Creek was. And I don't know. Again, this is something like RWB fans will understand, just because RWBY and RWB were made by Rooster Teeth, so that same level of like over the top humor I feel like is present there. But yeah, so I just loved this entire moment. Very funny, very cheerful, and not depressing and moody and emo like I'm sure the rest of this volume is going to devolve into. So I just really enjoyed just having like moments with Weiss and Blake more than anything, just because that is a very rare moment that we get with them too from time to time. Oh, this was great too. She's like, "Then she pulled the cheese out of the ground," and he's like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me?" I actually chuckled a little bit for that one, just because it's like, it's not that serious, but it's like the entire world turned upside down on its head for them to realize that. But and then like the whole reference of like, "You have to understand, we're very skeptical of cats and snakes, but mostly cats." I liked it. The comedic timing there was great. I just love these little guys. I don't know how prominent they're gonna be, how important they're gonna be, if they're just like a one and done kind of thing aside from Little, but I just liked it. It was nice. It was interesting. And I don't know if we're gonna understand like the nature of the world in terms of like, where do all of these creatures come from, because this has to come from somewhere, right? Like, this can't just be like oh, this place has always existed. And Ozpin has even mentioned that he's lived through his fair share of fairy tales, so maybe even Oz would know a thing or two about this place. I'm sure they're gonna fill him in fully about the ever after whenever they end up making it back to Oscar and Vacuo and all that stuff. Yeah, Ruby's the cheese master. You know, Cheese Master Gus, there's oh my God, I need fan art of that. Maybe not. Maybe I don't need fan art of that. Cheese Master Gus, but it's Ruby Rose. Oh my God, that'd be cursed, but also incredibly funny. Oh man, the Cheese Maiden. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so obviously they're trying to find Yang. They realize that she's been here the longest, and Little is like, "I'll be your trusty guide." Psych, I'm actually gonna sleep because this is awesome. I don't have to walk around. It's like I have my own personal vehicle in Ruby Rose. Yeah, she's got like a free ride with and it's like, yo, I'm big chillin'. Who would have thought life would be this good with a human person huntress Ruby Rose thing? You know? So I don't know. I just liked these, like, and again, I felt like the pacing was really good because they weren't like overstaying their welcome on any particular moment, right? Ruby kind of makes her way through the island. She has her interaction with Little, then it shifts to Weiss and Blake. They get her weapon. They get apprehended, they find Ruby, they recollect, they realize, okay, we're gonna go up to that cliffside, and they're just keeping things going. And I just like how they there wasn't enough time wasted on just getting the gang together. And like, even though they made progress in the episode, right? They found all 4 of the girls are together, and 2 of them have their weapons. Yang's arm got stolen, they got to track that down, which we saw a little bit of how that's gonna develop in the intro. I'm sorry, in one of the trailers. And then Ruby's weapon, I don't know about you guys, but I actually wonder if Ruby's not going to get Crescent Rose until the very end of this volume. Because, like, she's unable to defend herself in any realistic sense. And I feel like that's also going to weigh on her mind to where she can't defend her friends or protect them or whatever the case might be. And like, I don't think out of all the trailers, I don't think any of them showed Ruby's weapon on her back, like in her like little like I don't know, like its harness or whatever. And so I actually wonder if Crescent Rose is just going to be kind of chilling until the end of the volume. Yeah, like folded up, like you don't see it on her back at all. So, like she might not get it back to the end of the volume, but she might not get it back at all, which would be wild. I can't imagine her not getting Crescent Rose back. Like that's her baby, right? Like that's her weapon. She forged that weapon herself before the start of the series, and it recently just got a damn upgrade at an Atlas. So I'd feel really bad if she wasn't able to get that weapon back, you know? So, but yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Crescent Rose will be the key to her finding her true identity by the end of it, right? Because like Crescent Rose has been along with Ruby throughout the whole journey. And I'm not saying that Crescent Rose makes Ruby Rose, but like, I don't know, that if she's far gone and like based on the official trailer, the person that was talking to Ruby was basically saying that she could recreate a new identity for Ruby that would wipe away all of the stress, anxiety, fear, burdens that plague her mind, and basically turn her into a new version of herself, which I think we saw a glimpse of that in the intro. If Ruby does take that opportunity and becomes a new person and nothing else can get through to her, I wonder if her weapon would be able to, because Crescent Rose is somewhat showcased a bit in the intro as well, implying that it has a bit of significance in what's going to develop and what's going to happen. So I do think that could potentially go towards something. So yeah. Oh man, this was great. So we transition from here to the cliff tops and we get the Jabberwocker experience, which was really, really cool. You first hear it's like giant roar, which was pretty badass. And then you hear it say like one word directives like seeking, scouring, stalking, listening, retreating, returning, attack, rip, bite, tear. And it's so freaking cool. I love the voice effect of it. I love how it twitches and moves. I love how it moves fast enough that it has like a bit of like an after image, like vibration effect to it as well. And so jabbing, walking. Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, is it being controlled or is it just like doing a set level of directives that were given to it, right? Because it also says at the very end when it's cornered by everybody, it says retreat, return. And it's like, return, where are you returning to? Does someone control you? Are you under some type of directives by someone else? Etc., etc. And so, yeah, I'm just wondering what the true... And another thing, too, is like the Jabberwocky is like a major story point. I don't know if it's within the world of Alice in Wonderland, realistic, like literally, but at least for what I know of it, like the Vorpal sword is a weapon that is used to slay the Jabberwocky, and I'm wondering if Alex has a weapon, and if that's the Vorpal sword because she is Alice. Or rather, she's the reference to Alice, which I think would be really, really cool if we get to see Alice fight and slay the Jabberwocky by the end of the show. Or rather, by the end of the volume, I should say. But yeah, this thing is massive. This thing's like 6 feet, 7 feet tall, which would be wild. Yeah, or it could be Jean. Jean could get a new weapon because his sword broke after Volume 8. And I really hope he can fix it, because the weapon is basically at this point like a memento of Pyrrha, right? Her metal, the metal of her armor was melted into the shield and the sword, and the blade broke, but he could still have like the hilt and everything. So I feel like he could get it refined by the blacksmith that's in the intro and like throughout one of the trailers. And he could have the Vorpal blade or the Vorpal sword by the end, or that could be like what his reforging his weapon, that could be what it represents. But But yeah, I'm just curious of how things are going to develop overall. We did see like an axe gun type weapon in the trailer as well, which makes me wonder if that's the blacksmith. You know, RWBY is going to need like a stand-in weapon in general. So I do think that in that particular sense, it is interesting to see if she'll have like a, because like she did the same thing with Penny's weapon in Volume 3. Like she ended up using Penny's weapon to defend herself when she didn't have Crescent Rose readily available. Um. Oh, was there an internet issue? Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what is going on with my internet today. I don't know if I'm almost concerned that it's YouTube, just because I haven't streamed on YouTube in a while, and yeah, it's OBS keeps crashing, but my internet's fine. Like my internet itself isn't messing up, so I do apologize. You might just have to constantly refresh if my screen is ever lagging or loading or whatever the case might be. But yeah, so again, they see the Jabberwocker. They go up to fight it, or at least Blake and Weiss do, just because Ruby's kind of like defenseless. She can't do anything. All she can do is watch her friends fight. They reunite with Yang, who was already kind of in a tussle with it, despite not having a weapon, which is kind of crazy. And they've all just been fatigued. They all just kind of got like wiped by like Cinder and company at the up above during the during the transitioning from Atlas to Vacuo. So all of these characters are kind of pooped as well. Like they just, you know what I mean? Like they're just kind of like, I feel like they're running on fumes at this point. And I'm just wondering when we're going to see this creature again, and how that's gonna fare. Obviously Yang needs to get her arm back, and we do know about the purple raccoon the purple raccoon like lugging around trash or whatever, or like different like bits and bobs that it comes across to sell or attract people to, and like from that one trailer. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't find Crescent Rose and try to sell it off or whatever, because that would be none of it. But yeah, so we got that going on. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we obviously have the true reunion here. We got the true reunion between the gang, which is great. We got RWBY and Yang and Blake and Yang. And obviously Weiss is just kind of like there, I guess. But one thing about this portion of the episode, or like the interaction between RWBY and Yang, I understand RWBY's just kind of like cutting through and just mentioning like, obviously if we had the opportunity to find you, we're not just gonna leave you here. But the wording is a little not necessarily up to code, right? She mentioned like Yang's like, oh, you shouldn't be here, and then RWBY's like, oh, if you thought we weren't gonna come after you, then you must have forgotten who raised me. And like that in of itself is sweet, that in of itself is wholesome. I understand. I interpret that line as like, even if we didn't fall, they probably would have jumped in after her if it guaranteed that she would be alive, or maybe they would take that risk to jump after her if they didn't fall themselves. But also, they didn't fall of their own choice. They fell, they just happened to fall against, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't up to them. The circumstances happened as they did, and they just happened to not die and then realize, hey, we can relink up, and then they found Yang. But yeah, I as I was watching it, I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily how things went about, but I'll give it to you, Ruby Rose. I get what she was going for. You know what I mean? Like, the last thing Yang wants to hear is, look, Yang, I know you fell, but I wasn't going to risk my life to come here and get you because we had a mission to complete. It only so happens that I found you because A, I fell because of Cinder, and B, I didn't die. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm like... What a slap in the face to realize that your sister's saying that. She's like, hey, I'm here, but I'm not here by choice. So obviously they're going to go for the more tender aspect of like, of course Ruby's going to want to link back up with her sister if given the chance. So yeah, I'll allow it. It's understandable for sure. And then obviously Blake and Yang being back together was great too. I'm sure that a lot of people were really happy to have these two like have their interactions. And then Weiss is just like, oh fuck, now everyone's together. Now I have to spill the beans. And it's just like the worst possible situation she could find herself in. Cause it's like, you got to talk about how the plan failed and how Cinder got the relic and how Jean killed Penny. And just all the bad stuff has to come out, and she's burdened by being the last one to fall to share that information with. And she does. And I never stopped to think what Ruby's reaction was in the trailer when we first got this scene. Like, we first got this shot in the one of the trailers where she just like passes out, like collapses. And I didn't think that, oh, that's from when it was revealed what happened to Penny. Like, I kind of didn't look too deep into it because I was like, you know what? I don't want to like read too much into this. I want to kind of see it for myself when it happens. And then when it happened, I was like, oh shit. Like, she didn't even hear the whole thing. She's just like, she finished the sentence basically. She was like, Penny actually died. And we risked her being a real girl, and now she's gone for good. And I think that's the start. I don't think she mentioned Jean. No, she only mentioned that Jean tried to help. And she said Penny sacrificed herself. So she didn't specifically say Jean killed Penny to prevent Cinder from getting the power because Ruby passed out before she could even finish her sentence. But, like, I feel like she's going to find out fully, you know, unless it's going to be explained to her because we already know what happened, so there's no point in regurgitating that information. Or if she sees Jean again and she understands what he's going through, at the end of the day, it's going to be revealed. It's going to come to light. I know some people think that Ruby is going to have like this hostile reaction to Jean doing that, but like, that was Penny's choice. You know what I mean? And it's like, you either did that and the power went to Winter, or Penny still died by Cinder's hand over her own, and the power goes to Cinder. You know what I mean? Like, there was no good choice. There was only what was the lesser of two. Like, not even the lesser of two. It was like, there was really, like, those two options. And it's like, you kind of have to do whatever will cause the least amount of damage. And I do think, again, and I'll reinforce this, I think that was that was Penny's, like, first choice in her life that was ever made uninfluenced by her dad, by Ironwood, by the Aesops, by her duties, by Mantle, by Ruby, or anyone. And that's also given the fact that she died thinking that Ruby died, and Yang died, and Blake died, and all of them just fell to their deaths. You know what I mean? And she went out swinging on top of that. She was still fighting even when she got struck down. And and by her doing that, she allowed her sacrifice to allow Winter to stop Cinder from getting the power, from saving the people in Vacuo, and allowing for that plot line to continue forward. Otherwise, everyone would have been eaten in the desert by the freaking, and like whittled away by the freaking whipping sands and winds and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm going back on like my Volume 8 tangent, but I already mentioned it during Volume 8. But again, I don't think Ruby's gonna have this major like lashing out effect for Jean, because like you have to realize, like, what did that do to Jean? You know what I mean? You have to kind of empathize. Like, everyone is suffering for that happening, and it's really just going to come to the point where Ruby's just going to keep compartmentalizing, and then she's going to get to a point where she snaps and decides, I'm going to take that voice up on her offer to, or the Queen of Hearts up on her offer to, like, wipe my identity clean because it's too painful to bear, and I don't know how to process and deal with it properly. And that's probably the worst decision that she'd make, but given her emotional state, it's understandable. And then she's going to have to try to, like, she's going to have, like, a very introspective moment because she has, like, a conversation with her Volume 1 self, you know, and it's like, what are you going to be? Are you going to be Ruby Rose? Or are you going to be something completely different? So, and I'm pretty sure that Jean also took up that offer because the intro kind of relays it. The teaser kind of relays it in different ways, but he probably is at his absolute lowest next to his desire to kill Cinder after she killed Pyrrha, you know? And, like, falling into this world, none of them know he fell either. Like, when Weiss was like, I don't know if anyone else fell. So they only know that Neo is here, but none of them know that Jean is here. So if Jean fell and no one knows that he fell, and he took this deal before linking back up with them, it's just going to be like a complete, like, Jean's just here, like, as a completely different person, and the only way they're gonna know is if they encounter this knight and they fight him or they fend off him or something like that, or, you know, his clothes and armor are noticeable enough that they're like, wait, that's Jean, that's his shield or something like that. But yeah, they don't know that he fell because he technically is the last one to fall, and he clearly fell absent of all of them. So given the fact that he just assisted in Penny's suicide, and he is probably feeling really shitty about all of the events that happened, Cinder getting the relic, Team RWBY and company falling, he assisting in that way, like, that probably fucked him up mentally. And then here comes someone saying, like, hey, I can make all the pain go away. Do you want that? And him being vulnerable, emotionally, mentally vulnerable enough to take that offer, turns him into something completely different, and he's no longer Jean. He's the knight. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm interested to see what that turns Jean into. And I just hope that things kind of play out, because again, like I said, I think this volume is going to focus on RWBY, Jean, Alex, and Neo. I think that between those four characters of, like, major development, especially RWBY. Like, RWBY's never kind of dealt with the pain and suffering of things that have happened, be it her mom, be it Pyrrha, be it Penny. It's always been something that she's, like, pressed on, like, she's just kept moving forward. She's never stopped. She's like, just keep moving so you don't think about it. And I feel like at this point, when you really have nothing to do, like, you have nothing but time at this point in whatever realm this is in, it's going to give her a chance to think about a lot of stuff. And, yeah, I just wonder what that's going to turn them into by the end of it. So yeah, so she collapses. And again, I feel like this is the first instance of RWBY's demeanor changing, right? She wakes up, Yang asks, are you okay? And she immediately continues the conversation they're already having about, like, Neo falling. She was like, Neo's still here. Yang's like, oh, are you okay? She just stares at her and she's like, she attacked me while we were falling. Completely different tone of voice, by the way. Like, she's just not having it. She's really, like, in a moment of, like, immediate defense. She's kind of, like, in defense mode at this point because she just found out one of her best friends is dead for good, and she doesn't even have time to process it. So rather than kind of be with the team, she's kind of, like, distancing herself. But I feel like that is the first instance of things that are going to be changing with her as time goes on. And you can also see it at the bottom panel right here, where she's just right here. Like, she's just kind of like, she's got like a mile long stare until Yang says that she thought she was dead. And I just felt so bad in that moment. I was like, wow, like, RWBY's really, like, going through it right now. And it's only the beginning, I feel like. And the intro kind of plays into that a lot more too. But again, the top part here with Blake, I'm so proud of Blake right now too. Like, I know Blake has had the leader role, especially like with Menagerie and like her influence with the White Fang plotline at that time. But like, I don't know, like, it feel like out of everybody involved, she's the one that feels the most assertive, the one that just is like, she sets up the plan and executes on it, and like is pretty much kind of trying to rile everyone together and get a game plan going. Like, I just love how she kind of takes point. She's not the team leader, but in this moment she is. Like, the roles are kind of reversing. RWBY's in that moment now where she kind of is like on the back burner as the leader. She's kind of going through her own stuff emotionally. Yang is kind of probably feeling a little not too confident, you know, based on the fact that she doesn't have her arm. And like Weiss is kind of like the next runner up, but I feel like Blake is the most headstrong out of the gang right now to kind of go through with picking up everybody and giving them a solid plan that sounds like it'll work and keeping everybody's spirits up. So yeah, I love how the roles are kind of reversing right now because everyone has kind of had that moment. And I feel like this moment, again, for Blake would be really nice because their leader is going to be falling further and further and further behind and pushing themselves further and further and further away. To where I don't even know if they're going to be able to get to her. The only person that's going to be able to help RWBY is RWBY herself, you know? So I was really, really happy. Once I realized that after I watched the episode, I was like, wow, I'm actually really happy about like how they're like writing Blake right now to kind of be the, to be the person that is kind of getting everybody together because, you know, I feel like it would be easy if it was RWBY, you know what I mean? And RWBY needs that. What's the word I'm looking for? RWBY needs that. She needs to get knocked down a little bit. Not saying she hasn't, but I feel like a lot of people want to see it to believe it. And this volume is definitely going to be that. RWBY is going to become the new version of the girl who fell through the world. When RWBY leaves here, she is going to be a different person. For better or for worse, I'm not saying she's going to be a completely different individual, but she's going to leave here with a lot more experience than she bargained for. And it's going to cause her to hopefully grow up in a sense. And, she might actually also be getting a little bit of like what it was like for Alex when she first came here, who is likely the girl from the fairy tale of the original, from the girl who fell through the world, who is likely the girl from the intro. So yeah, I think that I want that for her. You know what I mean? Like RWBY cannot be a kid forever. She can't be this youthful, optimistic anime protagonist character forever because that gets boring and that gets old. And if you have nothing to struggle through, like how do you evolve? How do you grow if your life is pretty much the same? If you deal with everything in the same way, I forgot the quote, but it's basically like, it's only when you're like, when you've hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. And that's like, when you've reached the bottom, that is where you're at your point for the most amount of change in your life. I butchered the quote itself, but it's something along those lines. And I feel like RWBY is at her very lowest she's ever been. And this is the perfect opportunity for that rock bottom, like, bedrock to be like a foundation for her to build herself back up. So yeah, so I'm really happy to see how this will develop. And again, really happy that Blake is the one kind of spearheading all of this, and I'm just interested to see where it goes. But we got a bunch of bananas here. I almost wish that Sun Wukong was here too. But yeah, this is a fairy tale, and I love how it's portrayed. Now, I'm gonna hit you guys with something some of y'all probably didn't think about, but I did because of course I did. I rewatched the episode when I was gathering these clips, and I paused on this bottom scene here. So I'm actually going to, now I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to change the shape of it, but I was looking at this bottom section here, and you have the tree in the middle, but then you have all of these quadrants that are surrounding it. You have the cake island, you have like the cake quadrant. So that's like a layered chocolate cake with a bunch of like gumdrops around them with the candy canes, the candy corn. So that's kind of like candy cake land. And then you go up a little bit, and that kind of looks like an ice cream sherbet mountain. And then you go a little further in the back, and you see like these green, like jagged jewels, which kind of looks like a jade mountain or forest or something like that. And then in the very back, you have rocks. To the right side, you have a snow mountain. You have a volcano area. You have like a fungi, a dark fungi, glow in the dark section. You have like Wannabe Forever Falls, everything is colored in red. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that place. And then you have like a settlement on the very, very far end. Did anybody else think of Amity Coliseum being a reference to being like inspired by this place from Ozpin? Because Amity Coliseum also has 8 individual quadrants for different biomes when you like when you set it up. I got this one because this one offered 4 biomes, but it could actually offer up to 8. So I was like, Ozpin, you stole this. You stole this fairy tale for your tournament arc. So I immediately thought of that, and I was like, that is so cool. And Ozpin, you're getting DMCA'd, my guy. But yeah, I thought of that, and I was like, oh my god, the freaking Amity Arena. That's so cool. Because it works the same, like the tree is the centerpiece, and then each one of these quadrants is a different quote-unquote biome. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 7 of like particular noteworthiness here. So there's 10 episodes, and 1 episode is already down, which covered like it covered like whatever biome that, or whatever quadrant our group is currently in. It's kind of like in the tropical biome, I would say. So you had like the palm, like the twisted palm trees and the sand, and like basically like the beach area. So we've already been through 1 quadrant. So I'm wondering, and from the trailers, we're going to the Dark Forest area, we're going to the Forever Falls wannabe area, we're going to like a toy village area, and I don't know, I swear to God, if we do not go to this Candyland looking place, I'm gonna be so mad. I will literally never forgive Rooster Teeth if we don't go to Candyland. I really, even if it's like for a montage of them going through all these other like wannabe areas. But here's another thing that I want to share with you guys. So first off, obviously the main thing I realized was like, oh, I wonder if this fairy tale world was like the blueprint that Ozpin used as a base for what went on to be the Vital Festival biomes for the arena. And then I thought to myself, what if each of these biomes was a different quote-unquote failed experiment of the gods? So, like, imagine this is like... Bear with me here, okay? Imagine this void is considered the recycling bin. And whenever a civilization doesn't go well, the gods take that civilization and chuck it into the void, and they start over. So we have each completely different biome based on a different failed experiment civilization existence that the God of Light and Darkness created. Why the Candyland one didn't work out, I couldn't tell you. But it's like, because none of them, like, they look like they're kind of ripped out from a different, like, reality. Like, none of them, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't gel well together. Like, they all kind of look even, like, segmented off. Like, none of these were, like, made together. It almost looks like a mismatched puzzle, and you're just putting pieces and trying to see what fits and what works. You know what I mean? So it just seems like these were all taken from a different chunk of reality and put together. Yeah, none of them connect, exactly. So I'm just and like Remnant now is like the current existence, and they were just like, you know what, we should just stick to our day job as being creators and destroyers. Let's get the hell out of here. And now Remnant is like the last stand. You know, Remnant is the remnants that are left, and this is basically all the stuff that's in the trash, you know? So that's what my thought process initially was for this. It was between it being like the waste bin of the gods as creations of the past, and a modern day like inspiration that Ozpin used for Amity Coliseum. And if he mentions that, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be so freaking happy if he mentions that, because it has all the makings of it. You can clearly see it. And if not, then obviously RWBY based the realm of the fairy tales after it. One or the other. I'll take both, though. So yeah, again, I thought that was really, really well Like the presentation of it was really cool. And that's the episode. That's how the episode ends. RWBY has to find her weapon. Yang has to find her arm. And then they have to figure out where the hell they are. And based on the trailers, I think the next episode is going to be focusing on getting Yang's arm first, because they had that conversation where they were like recapping what happened. You know, RWBY found a mouse. Blake and Weiss got attacked by a bunch of rats. And Yang got her arm stolen by a talking purple raccoon with a freaking thing of trash or whatever. And so I think that situation is going to happen next. She's going to go and get her arm. She's going to have to fight those toy soldiers. She's going to have to confront this raccoon person. And then we're going to get some of the interactions with other creatures and characters and whatnot. And I'm interested to know if the raccoon has a name or the blacksmith has a name, because again, apparently in this world, your name is your purpose. So I don't know if he's called Thievius Raccoonus. I don't know. He's just like a raccoon thief. He's actually like a phantom thief. I don't know. But yeah, so we're going to jump into, I'm going to transition now. I will be right back though. I have to use the restroom, but we are going to be getting into the intro. Hopefully this isn't too too jarring for you guys to see the void over here with the intro, but sit tight and I'll be right back. Oh, actually, hold on. I'll give you guys Chaircoon. There you go. There you go. I'm back. Someone said, Chaircoon, you are so saturated. Nani? A stunning dissertation by Chaircoon. Chaircoon be cooking. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Chaircoon, the people's champion. You'll love to see it. Alrighty. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay. Yo, Curtis Snap, thank you for the $5 sticker. I think that's a sticker. Thank you. Appreciate that. Drop the mic. Okay, we got to talk about this intro, bro. This intro is actually flames, dude. This intro is so freaking good. So, all the Dragon Balls, all the void energy orbs of whatever. I don't know what all this energy nonsense is. And before each one of these orbs is like a different reality, like a different fairy tale world place thing. And like Team RWBY and company just fell into like the hub world of one of them. Yeah. So if you guys don't know, the intro is out in full. The full version of the song, I believe, is out on like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, I think, etc., etc. It's called Inside, and it's by Casey Lee Williams and one of her bandmates, Martine. And I'm pretty sure like the rest of her band of Okay Goodnight. And yeah, this is the first of many songs that they're going to be working on, which is really, really good. I have not memorized the lyrics yet. I think I'm going to need I think I'm going to need another week, like by episode 3, because I hate how challenging this song seemingly will be to sing in the intros for the next 8 weeks. I'll be honest, like, I'm kind of missing Jeff. Jeff made things a little easier. Casey's taking that shit up to, she's taking it up to like, I don't know, like freaking expert mode. And I'm like, oh my God. Also, I haven't had a chance to like listen to the music actively because I've been prepping so much for like this live stream and everything else in between. But yeah, so we got the Void. So I want to ask you guys something. What do these two characters have in common? Just out of curiosity, if anyone can think on that real quick. I decided to kind of break down the intro immediately. All right, someone in the chat literally said it, but not in the way that I was expecting. They said they both lost a ginger. I hate to say you're right based on your based on your eloquence there, but yes, you're right. What do they both have in common? This woman right here. This woman bodied or assisted in the death of the person that these two people cared about. She coerced Torchwick into joining her, and that indirectly got him killed during the fall of Beacon. And she actually fucking incinerated Pyrrha from the inside out, or in general, during the fall of Beacon. Actually killed both of the people that these two people cared about, or the deaths of both of the people that these two cared about in the same fucking volume. And led to the death of another red. This is the killer of redheads. Hide all of the redheads, please. We're talking about, oh, this person is, Rooster Teeth is killing all the redheads. This is the person responsible for all of them dying. Are you kidding me? Bruh. Oh boy, please do not introduce any more redheads into, yo, actually, like, Nora's not looking too good right now, man. She just freaking overcharged herself, and she's got like a bunch of scars, and I don't know, she's looking like easy pickings for Cinder Fall, I'm just saying. And they're all going to Vacuo? I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't like this chat. But yeah, so I really do feel, and the fact that they put both of them on a panel together for the intro, it's gotta tell you something. These two really have to like look inward and say to themselves, who's really at fault for my pain and suffering? Really, Neo has to ask that to herself. Jean already knows, but Jean's going through some shit right now. And I feel like Jean is going even further down than when he saw Cinder during Volume 5, and he was like, I'm gonna kill you for killing Pyrrha, like on some like cold-blooded revenge type shit. Like, I could have swung at you with my sword, but I wanted the full force of my claymore impaling your face, to where he just decided, like, he was out for, like, he wanted her to feel his pain. That's why he wasn't thinking logically. He was thinking, like, what can deal the most damage, you know? To where he almost stabbed Cinder through the face with his sword. With his claymore, actually. It was, like, freaking fully, like, a full, full broadsword. And then Neo, you know, she's been taken for a ride by hearsay. She was like, I didn't kill your boss. It's like, yeah, but he only died because he was in that situation because you forced us into it, or you forced him to it, and by proxy forced me to join along to make sure he was okay. But he died when he died, and now that Cinder betrayed her in the first place, that should throw any type of credibility of Cinder, of anything that's ever come out of her mouth, because she just kind of did it for her own means. She was like, I'll just tell you that RWBY did it, and then you'll be on my side. And like some people were mentioning, I remember during Volume 5, where people were kind of mentioning, like, why is Neo, like, willingly joining? She should know better. But the reality is, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Neo has, realistically, no reason not to believe Cinder. You know what I mean? Especially if Cinder and Roman were both working for a common goal and they've both been thwarted different times by RWBY. It's easier for her to decide that Ruby's the bad guy instead of thinking critically about how liable Cinder really is. You know what I mean? And I know as the viewer, it makes sense why we would know, because obviously we know that Cinder's more liable to it than RWBY. But like, from Neo's perspective, she has to go on that journey and find that answer for herself. She can't just be like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure you did it, just based on the fact that that would make for a better plot twist. You know what I mean? She can't break the fourth wall and decide, like, actually, no, Cinder, I think you might have actually done it. I don't have any reason to decide. I don't know. I have no credibility in that logic, but I just think that that's the right thing to go with. So yeah, I'm interested. Dude, I actually, like, Neo has so much screen time. It's ridiculous. In the intro, I would say. I'm going to talk more about her towards the end of it, like when she's on like her Mad Hatter vibe. But yeah, I again, Jean, Neo, RWBY, Alex. This is their volume more than anybody else's, in my opinion. And I just don't know how they're going to come out of it. But Cinder is literally going to catch hands with every single person in this show by the end of it. Like, I don't know. Like, she's just making a terrible case for herself by the end of all of this. And, yeah, I'm just wondering how things are going to play out over time with her. But, yeah, I love the rendered characters, or the full render colors of all of the characters, in their typical colors here. And then you got RWBY here as well, who's, kind of going through some type of, like, spiritual release. Her identity's changing. That's like her soul being like, again, you know what? What do you guys think? Let me ask you guys right now then, just to kind of put our theories out here so they're solidified. I feel like by the end of this volume, someone's going to ask RWBY a question, and they're going to ask her, what are you? What do you think RWBY's answer is going to be? Like, to the overarching answer of what are you, I actually feel like I know what I'm gonna say, but I'm just wondering what y'all think she's gonna say, or what her answer could potentially be. Remember, she's not saying, they're not asking her who she is, they're asking what she is. She does not know. Well, no, I'm just asking, by the end of the journey, when she finds that answer out, what do you think she's gonna say? I'm the main character? Oh, man. A girl with a lot of problems? Ooh, that's good. That one's good. I like that one. I think she might say a simple soul. I think she might actually say a simple soul. Because, like, that goes back to the original conversation. Hope, too. Hope is another one. It's either a simple soul or hope. I feel like it'll be one of those two answers. Because a simple soul goes back to Ozpin and Salem's original conversation. Ozpin's like, perhaps things, these are things that you've long forgotten. Things that require a simple, more honest soul. So a simple soul, an honest soul, or hope. Those are my three answers right there. And if it happens, it's because I'm on the writing team and I just haven't told you guys yet. All right? If that happens, I better be getting a phone call from Carrie Shawcross himself. Because I'm one step ahead of everybody. But yeah. I'm just interested in because she's gonna be asked that by so many people. Like in that first trailer, like the first trailer we got, like Little asked what she is, the cat, the caterpillar, the queen, like the blacksmith lady, like all of them were like, what are you? What are you? What are you? And then even herself, to herself, she was like, what are you gonna be? You know? And I think either hope or a simple soul are appropriate answers for Ruby Rose. They might be cheesy, but like it's true. And it's never like that's been established since the first episode. That has always been what she's been, even if she didn't know it at the time, you know? So yeah. Also, I just want to express too, let me blow up this bottom image here and so we can talk about this real quick. I can't express this enough. I love the color of like the little maple leaves in this world. You see them so much, and I just really love them. They look so cool. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like there's like well, I'm pretty sure it's hard to not see it, but you see like the two blue streaks. It's almost like a wannabe, like you guys ever see like the Disney logo and how it goes, like the white beams go over the castle? It's just like them, like, okay, we want to be Disney, but we don't want to get sued. It's like, we want to be a Disney intro, but we don't want to get sued by Disney's bloodthirsty lawyers. But yeah, that's obviously, that has to be Jin and Ambrosius to an extent. I don't know what the significance of that is. Why are they here unless Jin and Ambrosius are from this place, right? Maybe the relics were original. Actually, I don't know how. Well, the relics were like just kind of created by the god of light. So like, I just don't know. But like Ambrosius knew about this place. So maybe now that I'm thinking about it, actually, maybe Ambrosius used to like, maybe like Jin, Ambrosius, and the other two spirits of the relics, maybe they were originally from this realm, and then because he wanted these, the god of, so like, let's go based on our original thought process that this fairy tale world and all of its segments were failed experiments of the god of light and darkness. So they know that this place previously existed. Then Ozma comes along and they're like, okay, we're going to create these 4 relics that are based off of 4 different, 4 different forms of like beings that represent humanity. And what if he grabbed those from this place? Like, what if he took 4 things, gave them life here, manifested them and fused them with a relic, and then brought them to Remnant? You know what I mean? Because we didn't see how they were created, but Ambrosius said, do not fall, which means Ambrosius knows of this place. But how does Ambrosius know of this place if his creation was after its existence? You know what I mean? Like, the relics weren't created until Ozpin was reincarnated as Ozma. You know? So, like, yeah. Ozpin would have also had to have come here if he knows of this place. So yeah. So I'm just wondering if they might be from here, which is what the 2 blue streaks represent, because Jin and Ambrosius are the 2 spirits that we've seen so far. But yeah. Yeah, Ozpin couldn't have created this, because, like, how would he have created a pocket dimension fairy tale world in between time and space? You know what I mean? He couldn't have created it with the relics, because creating something, magic, I guess. Yeah, magic's the answer for everything, eh? But like, he used up most of his magic to create the maidens, so like, how much magic would it take to create? This seems like it costs more magic than to create the maidens. Unless magic is like endless, but this took a significant portion. But yeah, all I know is that I think Jin and Ambrosius know of this place, and maybe Ozpin to an extent does too. Don't know if Ozpin created it or if it even predates him, but obviously we'll have to figure that out. But clearly magic is a part of it. Fairy tales are a part of it. Fairy tales are all based on a level of truth. So I don't know. This feels like it could be its own fairy tale story, like a fairy tale in and of itself. Like somebody is basically reading The Girl Who Fell Through the World, but they're inserting Team RWBY or Ruby Rose into that story instead. But yeah, so just wanted to show that. And again, I think the simple soul, like RWBY, looks like RWBY's soul is basically coming out of her body in that one like shot right there. But yeah, I love the intro. Love the colorful leaves. And I also love a good character development. So another reason why I loved the Volume 8 intro is because of the we said goodbye part, and you see the current version character with like a snippet of their past, like from the trailers, and it just shows how much they've grown and how much they've evolved and how much they've developed as people. Like Weiss in Volume 1 was so bitter and mean and so different. Like all of them were. Blake kept to herself. She hid things from her teammates. She ran away when things got difficult. Yang, I feel like, was always kind of like carefree until things kind of like caught up to her and she had to like grow up and become a bit more mature in the sense of just like not taking everything like taking things more seriously. And RWBY has always been consistent. So if you look at Weiss, Blake, and Yang, you'll notice a trend here. So their older versions are slowly getting doled out by their present versions, and their present versions are like radiating, like their emblems are shining. Like this is like peak Weiss, peak Blake, peak Yang, but it's reversed for RWBY. RWBY is at the RWBY's current version is at the forefront, and it's going backwards. So you have Volume 1 RWBY in the front. You have volumes 1 through 3 RWBY in the front. You have volumes 5 through 7 RWBY, or I guess 4 through like 8 in the middle, and then you have current RWBY in the back, who's just like, leave me alone, mom. Like I don't want to be bothered. Yeah, 4 through 6. Yeah, the costumes, they've had multiple costume changes, but yeah, basically like, RWBY's is the complete opposite of everybody else's. Also, her emblem just fades out, whereas the other three are like radiating and glowing. And they're like, yo, I'm at my actual peak, whereas RWBY's like, I'm at my absolute worst. This is awful. I don't want to be a part of this. Leave me alone. And so you see that, and the second I saw that, I was like, oh man, this is not RWBY's volume, bro. This is not it, Chief. Like she is, and it's like raining too. Like it's so bad. And then it fades to black on her as well. But if there was any moment to show that RWBY is going to be going through some hard times, it's definitely this part right here when compared to her teammates. So I love how they reference that. The Arthur meme lives, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many of you guys were around during Volume 4, but I'm going to say this very loudly and very proudly. I debuted what is known as the Arthur meme, the Arthur RWBY meme. So in Volume 4, there is a clenched fist scene in every episode of the volume. And I caught wind of that back then, and I made a tweet about it every single week an episode came out. So you know that the second I noticed that clenched fist, I was like, holy shit, they're bringing it back. I couldn't help myself, dude. I couldn't help myself. It's just like, it's so good, man. It's so good. When you find out your best friend was killed at the end of the volume. And it's just like the fist, like, I hate everything. Oh, man. It's too good. But no, in all seriousness, RWBY's actually going to be going through some shit, and it's not going to be good. But she's overdue, man. The worst part is, it wouldn't be so bad if they kind of gave that, like, little glimpses of RWBY's, like, outbursts and, like, how she just kind of, like, if they gave her moments of, like, completely being downtrodden by everything and having her build up and maturing from that, I feel like it wouldn't have to be as bad as it potentially could be now. But it's clear that they're going all in on RWBY now, and it's like, RWBY, you've had 8 volumes of, we've put this off for 8 volumes, so I hope you're ready, because it's not gonna be, we're taking you they're gonna put her through the ringer, bro. But yeah, they've definitely talked about this for a long time. Even the voice actors have talked about wanting to see RWBY go through this kind of like moment of like just basically breaking character for the first time and not being able to move forward and not being able to like carry on like she has been. And Penny dying and the current situation is kind of all, I feel like all of that is going to compound on all of the things that she's compartmentalized in her life. Her mother's death, her sister losing her arm, witnessing Pyrrha's death, finding out Penny died and not being able to save her, you know, not seeing Zwei for like how many years, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely like they have a lot to work with. They have so much that they can work with to really kind of push that message home. So I'm really interested to see how they do it and what RWBY becomes by the end of it, right? That she said, like they ask her, what are you? I'm interested to find that answer out by the end of this volume, and how that's going to change her by the time they get to Vacuo or by the time they get out of this place. I do want RWBY to leave here a different person. I don't want her to be the same. And I'm not saying I want her to be a different person, but I want her to evolve, basically. I really just want her to evolve and be more than she has been, because she has so much potential. She's the team leader. She's the main character. And I feel like there's so much about her that's just kind of like, there's so much more about her that I feel like we still don't know. Like what she thinks about and how she processes things and whatnot. And this seems like it could be the volume to give her that main focus, you know, to take a time away from like the world ending and Salem and the relics and all that other stuff going on. So really, really looking forward to that. We also have Alex here, who is the character in question. Again, want to just emphasize that Crescent Rose gets a bit of showcase throughout this intro, which leads me to believe that either RWBY is not going to get Crescent Rose until the end of the volume, or she might not get it back at all, which if she doesn't get it back at all, I'm going to be devastated. Unless she leaves with a completely different weapon that's like way better than this one, or like Crescent Rose 2.0 or some shit. Her also not having her weapon will probably also weigh on her with her inability to protect her friends and not be able to defend herself. And again, that is probably going to weigh on her by feeling incompetent and not very adequate as a leader, because she can't do shit without her weapon. You know, it's like, and that leads into another potential internal crisis, is like, who am I without Crescent Rose? Like, what the hell can I do without this weapon? You know what I mean? Like, she can barely defend herself. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, this is likely Alex, the character referenced in the Girl Who Fell Through the World fairy tale that was present during the RWBY Roman holiday novel, which focuses on Roman and Neo's history together, or like Neo's backstory and Roman's backstory and how they kind of how they basically met and all that. I haven't read the book. I'm realizing now that I probably should have, but I still definitely want to, especially if Neo survives this volume, if she makes it out alive, and if she makes it back to Vacuo and chooses not to stay in this world. I definitely owe it to myself. I had 2 years to catch up to the book, so now I'm just kind of like trying to grasp at whatever knowledge is available to kind of understand the purpose of this character, who she is, and what role she's going to play for RWBY. It seems like she's going to play a role for both RWBY and Neo. So RWBY and Neo might have like this dual parallel development where like RWBY is kind of like losing her sense of identity and self. Neo might be gaining a new identity and self through this fairy tale like journey that she might go on with figuring out her new purpose now that Cinder's, you know, abandoned her and betrayed her, and what that means for her and her goals and Roman, and like whatever whatever trials and tribulations she's met with here, if her past comes back to haunt her in different ways or whatever the case might be. She seems like she's living lavish here, to be honest, based on that intro. She's got her own like Jimmys. She's got like, you know, she's the ice cream, and she's got all her sprinkle men and women alongside her. So I don't know if Nia would be at home here, given the fact that she doesn't really have a life worth living in Remnant without Roman. Maybe here she could have a life that she could think up, and, you know, if she can think it, she can do it, and maybe she could be content with that, with imagination and imagining the best life for her, you know? So yeah, so Alex definitely seems like she's going to be a pivotal character for the development of both of them. We have some of the featured characters that we got to see throughout the trailer. We have the raccoon person with all of their bits and bobs and toys and stuff. They have like a stuffed lion. They have a jar. We got to see some of the other like toys and gizmos and gadgets that they had in the trailer. They obviously took Yang's arm, so they're probably just like a, ooh, shiny toy. Let me see if I can pawn this off on someone or sell it or whatever the case might be. And then you have this blacksmith and all of the weapons that they've, I guess, created or procured over the years. And I don't know, again, like, I'm not very well versed in the Alice in Wonderland storyline, so I don't know who that character, who the blacksmith would represent. I know that there's like the Duchess, and there's a couple of characters in Alice in Wonderland that I haven't seen yet that could be like a reference or a mention of this person, perhaps. But yeah, I don't really know who this could potentially be outside of that. I know that there are two queens. I think there's like a queen of a red queen of hearts, and then there's like a queen of something else. There's like a red one and a white one. Or this could just be someone that forges stuff, and it could be something completely different. I have no clue. But yeah, I do think that this person could be significant to Jean in the short term because his weapon is broken. So forging a new blade for him, because we need his main weapon. It's number one, it's an heirloom. Number two, it's the last remnants of Pyrrha's armor is attached to that sword and his shield. So I feel like if he were to lose that weapon, it would be super heartbreaking for like sentimental reasons. And also, potentially, if Jean has any hand in defeating the Jabberwocker, if they forge his blade and change it anew, it could potentially become the Vorpal blade or the Vorpal sword, which is the weapon that was used to kill the Jabberwocky in the first place. So unless that's Alex's weapon, that could be potential for Jean's weapon, or what Jean's weapon gets forged into for that like storyline. But Hephaestus, yeah, the god, the blacksmith god. But yeah, and then obviously we have like the Mouse Squad, the House of Mouse. Not that one. I'm not trying to get sued out here. And then we have the I'm assuming this is the Queen of Hearts, right? They have like their red soldiers. You see the eyes of the Cheshire Cat on the left. And RWBY looks like they're going to be going through like some type of chessboard match between them in a later episode. So that'll be interesting. Because it seems like I don't know if the Queen of Hearts is the one that changes Jean, but like hearts, you know what I mean? Like changing hearts, changing identities, things of that nature. I'm assuming that this is the person, or this might be the person that has a hand in doing something like that. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Robbie Damon is the Cheshire Cat, so it's Akachi. Yeah, Akachi-kun. Oh my god, I love that so much. I can't wait to hear more of him. I can't wait. But yeah, I did do a slow motion variation of this. I was going to do normal speed, but it was way, way, way too jank. So we're going to be going through different realms of this world. So each realm might be in a different episode, it seems. But notice how RWBY is slugging further and further away from her teammates as this happens. So you start off, they're all on the island. They're all kind of together. Alex is leading the way, or like the spirit of Alex is leading the way to some extent. So the first one, they're on the beach. And then the next episode, I'm assuming, is going to take place. So this is like a toy town, kind of. It's almost kind of like they're in a board game, because you see all the quote unquote NPCs, the characters in the background. They're all like board game character pieces, like on a Monopoly board or a Candyland board or something like that. So the second frame looks to be like a toy town, like board game kind of place. And then you see RWBY kind of falling a little bit behind. There's a gap between her and Weiss now. Then you get to the third panel on the bottom left, and they're going through like the Queen of Hearts' like rose garden. And RWBY's now not only falling farther behind, but she's kind of like slowing down a little bit as everybody else is kind of picking up the pace. And notice how Yang is taking point in the first shot. Blake is taking point in the second shot. Blake is also taking point in the third shot. And then by the time we get to the Dark Forest fungi area, RWBY is barely moving. And everyone else is kind of like sprinting. Like everyone is in unison. Everyone's together. And it's almost like they forgot RWBY's even there. And it's like no one's checking up on her. No one's making sure she's okay. And if they are, she might be internalizing all of this stuff and pushing everybody away, which means it's just going to be harder for them to get through to her. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it just seems, and this might also be the sequence of how the episodes work. So episode 1 was on the beach area. Episode 2, if Yang's looking for her arm, based on the trailer, it seems like we're going to go to Toy Town. And then the next episode will be at the Queen of Hearts' domain. And then the 4th episode will be in this dark fungi, glow-in-the-dark forest area. So, yeah, there's just a whole bunch going on here. And, again, they're definitely telegraphing how RWBY is going to be developing. It's just going to become harder and harder for her to kind of keep up with everyone because she's got a lot of things going on emotionally and mentally, especially with realizing that Penny's dead, and it probably feels like she doesn't even have a chance to process that because they need to find all of their shit, and then they have to find out how to get out of this place or what this place is. And obviously the place isn't going to make it easy, and the people they meet aren't going to make it easy and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm very much excited for the dark fungi glow-in-the-dark forest. That's probably my favorite locale area. I would say like the Queen of Hearts area, but we already have like a Forever Falls, and that will always have my heart, I would say. Yeah, I want to say the Red Queen doesn't really look like a woman. It looks like I also think that it could be a gender bent version of the Queen of Heart, of the Red Queen. I was just saying the Queen of Hearts because I know that that's probably the persona that they're portraying with that character. But yeah, I do want to say that too, that I think that that might be a gender bent Queen of Hearts for this story at least. So, and then we might also meet the Cheshire Cat in the next episode because the Cheshire Cat is chasing Little in the second panel with the in the Toy Town area, which is where I think Yang's arm is. So, for better or for worse, they're going to be interacting. Just hopefully the Cheshire Cat's just, playing games, just fooling around, having a little tomfoolery. And then we have the Caterpillar / Butterfly, which is another so they're freaking taking a hit from the hookah, it looks like. But obviously they are a pivotal character of development and evolution and growth throughout the Alice in Wonderland story, going from the caterpillar to the cocoon to the butterfly. And yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to be friend or foe in this iteration, based on certain things that we've seen and hear in the trailers. I'm just wondering how beneficial they'll be to our heroes, or how like difficult they'll be with how things progress. So there's that. And then, oh my god, dude, when it shifts to inside, like when Casey says inside, like when she goes in with the freaking, bro, the Jean panel is so fucking sick. They go from Jean to fade to black, like they just parallel from black to white. It's so good. Like, I love that so much. I was grabbing shots and I just kept finding myself watching the entire scene play out in the opening because it's so satisfying. But yeah, so it shifts here. We got Jean here with clocks, and I love the little melt effect. I don't know, it's kind of hard to pick up unless you like literally look at this shot over and over. But after it shifts to Jean to black and then the white clocks, you see like a melting effect kind of, or a melting transition to like this upside down, like topsy-turvy, like corridors and hallways type stuff. Almost kind of like whatchamacallit, like the Escher stairs. I mean, the Escher stairs, the EC Escher stairs are in this, like, they definitely showed something similar to that in the trailer, so we'll definitely see that. But yeah, Jean's scene here is an interesting one because if you look, oh, hold on, let me stop this real quick. So if you look if you look closely, there is no 11th hour, you know, and that could be a reference to like the 11th hour being like at the very, like the last possible minute. That's kind of what the 11th hour is considered. But yeah, there is no 11 on the clock. It goes 1 through 10 and then 2 12s. So, but also, let's break this down, shall we, chat? So we got Jean here with a bunch of clocks all on, is that 2 o'clock, right? So I think if you look at the time, it's 2 o'clock. And so, Jean's time is seemingly, oh yeah, or military time, but I guess like, yeah, if you're using like my time, yeah, it's 2 hours and 50 minutes technically. 50 minutes, 51 minutes. So it seems like he's stuck in time because all the clocks are at the same time and they're not moving. Then we have what looks to be a knight in like some battered armor riding a white rabbit. Then, if you look at one of the trailers, it shows what looks to be a white rabbit with someone's shoe, and that is confirmed to be Jean's shoe here. So you put all of this stuff together. Yeah, it's kind of like a rabbit / jackalope, technically speaking. But if you put the clock and the rabbit and Jean all together, you get the white rabbit who's very late for a very important date. And I think the white rabbit in Alice in Wonderland represents anxiety and like stress and anxiety, like being late for something. Also, it's a rabbit, pumpkin peats, marshmallow flakes, holy cannoli. They actually tied that in so well with Pumpkin Pete being a rabbit. Yeah, so now this is like fairy tale version. This is like yoked up Pumpkin Pete. But yeah, this is very interesting because I feel like Jean's the clock is ticking for Jean Arc, I think. In what way, I'm not sure. But it's very clear that they have plans for him. And I don't know if that means to get him back to who he was before, if he does take this identity change, because like we don't know the ramifications of doing that or how you can come back from something like that. Ren and Nora aren't here to help him. He only has Team RWBY, and at the moment they don't even know that he's here. So if his appearance is changed enough, like if his armor is different enough and if his clothes are different enough, they won't even know that this knight on the freaking white jackalope rabbit is even him, right? So, and I don't know if there's like a window of opportunity if you want to like go back on that identity thing, if there's like a timer or something, you know? So I think they're doing a really good job with kind of tying these inspirations in with the characters. It's very clear with the clock, with the rabbit, Jean being somewhat of a white knight himself. It kind of all culminates into this being his inspiration going into the story. And I just don't know what that's going to spell for Jean, but I don't think Jean, the Jean that we know, is going to be present. I don't think the Jean we know is going to be at the forefront of this journey, and it might not be until he breaks through. Because here's another thing too. I want to come on screen for this one. Another thing that we have to remember is that the two characters who helped each other grow the most are both at rock bottom. RWBY had Jean's back in Volume 1 when he wasn't feeling very confident, when he was feeling like a failure, when he was feeling like he wasn't good enough. And what did RWBY do? RWBY was like, nah, you have to show people that you're worthy. You made it here. Even if you didn't make it on good terms, you can prove yourself. Work hard. Pyrrha saw that. She doubled down and invested in him. RWBY invested in him. He got the admiration of his team. He fucking earned Cardin's respect. And he worked hard at it, you know what I mean? More so than any other character for obvious reasons. RWBY raised Jean. And then, in Volume 4, when the roles were reversed, when Crow was on his deathbed, when Yang was kind of depressed and at home and didn't want anyone around, when Ruby was separated from her team and she was doubting herself and she felt like she was dragging everybody into her affairs and her problems, Jean lifted her up. And what did he say? You didn't drag us along. You gave us the courage to follow you. In that moment, Jean had Ruby's back. Jean helped raise Ruby. Now, both of these characters don't have either one to raise them up. You can't be like, Jean will help get through to Ruby, or Ruby will help get through to Jean. Like, now both of them don't have their leaders, like their support leader, basically, like the leader of the other team to help lift them up. You know what I mean? And so now it's going to be really interesting because, number one, Jean's solo dolo. Like, no one even knows this man is here. At least with Ruby, if she's going through some shit, she's got her sister. She's got her teammate. She's got Blake. She's got Little. She's got her memories and her family and the people that love her and the people that are rooting for her and the people that want the best for her and all that stuff. Jean very much seems like new identity, new crisis, and I got no one along the way to help me. So like these two, I'm just really interested to see, because now they can't use the Jean, they can't use like the Jean get out of jail card. They can't use the Ruby get out of jail card for Jean. They can't use Jean for Ruby, and like they have to do something new. And like that's the thing I'm most excited about. I'm like so excited to see how they one up those previous moments. Like how does Ruby break out of this for the better? How does Jean break out of this for the better? And I want it to feel meaningful. I want it to feel believable. I want it to be really impactful, especially if they both make it out. But here's another thing too. I genuinely feel somebody is not leaving this island. I don't know if it's Jean. I don't know if it's Neo. It can't be Team RWBY. It cannot be anyone from Team RWBY. But I really feel like someone has to stay behind. I don't know why I feel that, but I just feel like it's a possibility that someone stays behind. And if Alex is here, does Alex get a chance to leave? Or is this like the remnants of Alex, the memory of Alex, the imagination of what she left behind when she went back to... Because apparently the fairy tale says that when she went back to the real world, she was a different person. But is this the version of her before she left? Like her kind of naive, like original self, and it's kind of acting as a guide for those who are here now. You know what I mean? There's so many different angles, but I really do feel like at the end of the day, it might just be Neo that stays behind. I don't care. Like, if you don't want to kill her, that's fine. I think it's way better to just have her be content and live and be here. And she's like, hey, Ruby Rose, all water under the bridge. I'm good. You're good. Stab Neo in the back for me stab Cinder in the back for me when you get the chance. You know what I mean? Like she instills her, well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the anime trope. She basically passes on her will and her ambitions to Ruby. And she's like, I couldn't get Cinder, but you definitely can. But I also feel like, in a sense, if you think of it, if you listen to the song, One Thing, that's Neo's declaration of revenge. So in a way, I also kind of feel like, here's one thing I think could happen. Neo could stay, right? Neo could stay. And then in a later volume, when they when the chips are down, when you don't know when you don't know where help is gonna come from next, Neo manages to come out of the fairy tale world and get one on Cinder, who thought she had it all figured out. Like, that's the only other thing I can think of. So yeah, I think that's like Neo plays her freaking Uno reverse card. But, like, I just wouldn't want Jean to die, because then, like, Ren and Nora have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, that's so fucked up. Like, they already went through their shit. I just feel like it would be so, I don't know, man. It would be like what happened to Penny is now happening to Jean. And then that's half of Team Juniper gone. I can't see Jean dying. I can see him going through like a crazy like metamorphosis, and him also like the boy who fell through the world. Like he goes through his own like journey similar to RWBY. And I would love for there to be like a Pyrrha scene, like in his mental, like a vision or something. Like I really want that for RWBY too. Like I want Summer Rose to be the motivation that helps RWBY get through this as well, not just the people that are here in the moment, because clearly her mom means a lot to her. Like she thought of her mom when she uses her silver eyes. You know what I mean? So like I just feel like there's so much potential for Jean as well. But yeah, we'll have to see. But those are all like my initial thoughts that I want to get out specifically with this scene here. Oh my god. Oh my god, I fucking love this. Oh my god, I fucking love this, dude. So this shot, RWBY on the top left here with Alex, I think it represents like actually, you know what I think? You know how the fairy tale mentions that when Alex returned, she was different than when she left? I wonder if Alex took the identity deal too. But like, because it's showing like what it's reflecting in the top left corner is like RWBY seems to be like a reflection of Alex in this moment, and that's clearly a different RWBY right there, like the one smiling and falling. That's like no worries, no pain, no nothing going on. Like that's a completely different RWBY, devoid of burden and everything else in between. And so drive by Alyssa. Hey, what's up, Eddie? But yeah, I'm so excited. And also shout out to this freaking colorful leaf. I love how the leaves are like being a big transitional moment. I love the color of them. They're so beautiful. And yeah, so again, I was actually getting a bunch of like reference material. I was actually watching a little bit of Alice in Wonderland clips on YouTube, and I noticed that there's this giant red rose that talks to Alice in the Disney film. And I was like, what the hell? That's literally if that's not a Ruby Rose reference, I don't know what is. And again, I feel like it parallels this RWBY and Alex moment right here. So I don't know what to make of it. Like, it's just kind of like a moment happening in the cuts in the opening, but we can't really interpret it because we haven't even met Alex. We don't know really anything about her realistically. But it's just really exciting to just see what we'll potentially be getting as time goes on. And then we have Neo, who's essentially the Mad Hatter, throwing her own little unmerry birthmas party or whatever. You know what I mean? She's throwing her own tea party here. And she's got her own the Jimmy gang, the Jimmies. They're all her sprinkles. And I'm assuming these are in people that are a part of her life or used to be a part of her life. I'm assuming maybe, you know, we can't see any of them. So if these are individuals that take part in the plot for her, I'm assuming Torchwick in the middle, her mom on the left, her dad on the right, and then a bunch of like supporting people throughout her life based on the book, which I have not read yet. So that's the best I can come up with. But it definitely seems like, again, the top left scene, it seems like there's going to be a lot of influence between Alex and RWBY. And based on the last shot of the intro, it seems like there's going to be a lot of like influence of Alex to Neo. And that's why I feel like Neo's definitely going to pop off, or Neo's going to have so much screen time. Also, yes, those are the shadow people from Volume 1 making a comeback. But yeah, I actually, oh God, I love the tea party like reference here. I don't know if there's any March Hare reference, right? Because you have the White Rabbit, which, you know, we talked about that with Jean. But I don't know if there's like a March Hare, because that's the March Hare right there. And they're just as mad as a Hatter as the Mad Hatter, apparently. So, yeah, I just don't know if there's any other hidden Easter egg characters that we'll see. Jean's the March... Is Jean the March Hare? Would you consider Jean to be the March Hare then? And then the White Rabbit is the one that he's riding on? Because Alex is definitely Alice. Like, the name is pretty much like one syllable off. But yeah. So yeah, I really, really liked that. We also have this scene here with the Jabberwocky, or the Jabberwocker, and this fairy tale book, which this might be like the fairy tale book of this world. Like, the book itself references the stories of this world. Like someone's reading a storybook of Team RWBY, and that's the book that they're reading out of. You know what I mean? Like they're manifesting this story in real time as it's happening. And then the book gets set on fire. So I don't know if this world is going to burn up with the book. I really hope that that's not the case. I'd be really, really unhappy if that happens. And then, I wonder who that could be. Come on, bro. If that's not Jean, like, it's clearly Jean, right? But you can never be 100% because I'm not the writers. I don't know. So I'm like 99.9% sure that that's Jean. And if it's not, you better have a good you better have a good explanation. And I mean Jean in the physical sense, like mentally, his identity wise. If he changed his identity, that's one thing. But that better be Jean. That's Felipe. Also, I go by Felipe now. That's a yo. Oh my god, dude. Yo, RWBY Chibi, bro. So, you remember that episode of RWBY Chibi season 2 where Penny goes swimming? The cannonball episode. So the scene opens up with RWBY showing up, and she's like, "Hey, have any of you guys seen Penny?" And Jean's like, Penny who? Who's that? I don't know who that is. What's that all about? And then she's like, redhead, innocently curious, Penny. And then Jean says, please don't get mad. I swear to God, they tease future content in Chibi. I'm convinced. There's more than enough supporting evidence, but they have to be doing that. Mind you, RWBY Chibi, that episode of RWBY Chibi came out in 2017. That episode came out in 2017, 5 years ago. Even if you take out the last 2 years of the hiatus, it came out 3 years before Penny died. So they had to have known that was gonna happen, and they're like, yo, I got a Chibi skit that will have dude, there's so many like references in there. I swear to God. It's so, yeah, RWBY Chibi low-key spoils. And then Jean's like, yo, I go by Felipe now. Like, literally, I'm gonna change my identity. Need I say more, dude? Also, yes, Joan of Arc was burned at the stake, and he's caught on fire now. So that's why I think Jean could potentially die. But another thing, too, is that a lot of people have had that theory that Cinder would kill Jean because she has fire and Jean, Joan of Arc reference. So, like, people have thought that Cinder would kill Jean because there's this entire, like, Juniper death theory that has been that's been a thing since, like, Volume 3. Pyrrha died. Jean has had some close calls. Nora had a close call last volume, but I feel like at this point they can't kill them. Especially Ren. Like, what did Ren ever do? Like, why would you kill Ren? Ren's gone through such a great development arc. Nora's kind of getting there. She had like a bit of development last volume. But Jean has gone through so much to just put this kid through the ringer and then kill him. I don't know, man. I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, like, clearly, again, and to add icing on the cake, bro, the final nail in his coffin, look at the item that flies by him. It's a maple leaf. Remember the last time we saw one of those? Need I say more? So yeah. Jean, if this man makes it out alive, that armor he's wearing is actually not like armor of this world. It's legitimate plot armor. He like found it and it has the word plot on it. And he just like wears, like that's literally it. Cause like, how do you set this man up so dirty in the intro and then are just like, yeah, he's not gonna die. Everything's fine. Like, yeah, they're just toying with our emotions at that point, you know? But if you guys slow frame, so if you guys slow down this like flipping of pages in the back there, it freezes on this shot right here, which looks to be Alex and the Cheshire Cat. So, you know, obviously that's probably, you know, this is a fairy tale book of the girl who fell through the world partially. Someone's like doing their own like headcanon fanfic rewrite right now with Team RWBY. But clearly that is Alex. And I love how she's wearing the bow in her hair, kind of like rabbit ears. That kind of gives me like Genshin Impact, like Amber vibes, like with her Baron Bunny, because it looks like she's wearing, it looks like she has rabbit ears too. And then you have like the Cheshire Cat in like the tree, or like in the vines or whatever, like whatever the trees are in that shot there. But yeah, that's a really, I tried to freeze frame on the another page, but the flipping pages go by so quickly. And I actually, Crunchyroll does not have like a slow motion speed feature. So, and they don't have it where you can like frame, like skip by frames on like the keyboard, like YouTube. So it was literally like impossible for me to like freeze on a specific page flip where I was trying to get a shot. I was trying for like 5 minutes and I couldn't do it. So, it's a little unfortunate, but I mean, I managed to get this, and I feel like this is a bit more significant because, again, Alex and the cat. And the cat might actually talk about Alice as well. So that, or Alex, I should say. So yeah. Yeah, I was doing that. I was spamming the space bar, unless the frame literally doesn't allow for you to see what that page is. But I wouldn't know because I'd be doing it forever and just assuming that I could do it. And after a certain point, I just stopped. But maybe the frame only shows a part of it, but it doesn't show that full page. Either that or I'm bad. Yeah, I didn't check on the YouTube channel at the time. This was when the day I finished the episode. But yeah, I'll have to double check and try again. I should say. So, and then you have like the tree itself, which this is so trippy, man. They're like tiny little ants climbing up this tree, and then the gravity just shifts and then they fall. And again, beautiful. I love the leaves. I want one of them. I want one of those leaves so bad. They look so beautiful. Gravity schmavity. Hey, gravity dust is the best dust in all of RWBY. Okay, put some respect on its name. All right, no gravity slander around here. Gravity dust has done more for RWBY than any other dust in the show. I don't want to hear it. Hey Arnold, I'm glad you. Hey Arnold, hope you're doing well. Glad I caught the stream while it's still going. Love your content so much. Your reactions are a big part of the fandom for RWBY growing to what it is now. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. I don't know if my reactions are that influential. I feel like it's, you know, it's been great to kind of share my thoughts and feelings about the show with everybody else, but I really appreciate it. I have no idea what the maple leaf means. What am I missing? I mean, it's a giant tree, and that's what all the maple leaves are. So they're falling from this tree that stretches out to all of these different, like, quadrants of this island. So, yeah, I don't know the significance of it either. Maybe, I don't know, rebirth, change, etc., etc. But yeah. And then we have this painting. So, Erin Wynn talked about this painting on Twitter, and she said that it took her 2 weeks to make this. That it's the longest piece she's ever worked on. And it's so freaking good. RWBY is literally falling through the world, guys. It was RWBY all along. She was the girl who fell through the world. Again, history repeating itself. Yeah, it took her 2 weeks. Look at this. This is beautiful. You have the jackalope, the knight, the queen of hearts or the king of hearts. You have Little, Cheshire Cat, Alex, the blacksmith, the caterpillar / butterfly, the jabberwocker, Cheshire Cat's butt, and then you have Neo. It is so good. This is such a sick part of the intro. This is like literally the whole story being told in one volume. That's the one thing, though, that I'm a little, I don't know, I'm a little worried, I'll be honest. I don't think we've ever gotten a single plot line fleshed out and told to us within one volume. I think the only volume that we've gotten something like that was like a transitional volume, and that was volume 4, where like all the characters were converging at different points. But it wasn't like the traveling took 2 volumes for it to happen, right? It took 1 volume. But like, we didn't make it through Beacon in 1 volume. We didn't make it through Mistral in 1 volume. We didn't make it through Atlas in 1 volume. So I'm really wondering, but because it's just Team RWBY, Neo, and Jean, I feel like they have enough, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They have just enough where 1 volume is enough for the characters that they're playing around with, on top of all the added in stuff too. Whereas like the other volumes, you have the different kingdoms, you have the different characters, you have the characters from those kingdoms, you have the teachers, the headmasters, the plot itself, like with Salem and Ozpin and the relics and the maiden, and like you have so many things you're juggling, which is why it takes multiple volumes to really flesh it out. But this, it's just one, it's really like a volume of development, which is not filler, by the way. So for anyone that says it's filler, no, it's not. I don't know where people get the idea that RWBY is filler unless it's talking about Salem and Ozpin. I don't understand where that came from, considering how, you know, I feel like I get where they're coming from, but that's very much like manga to anime mindset. It's like, oh, if it wasn't in the manga, then it's filler. But like, this is the mainline source material, so how is it filler? You know, it's weird. Like, people are weird. But anyways, I do think that it's pivotal, especially. And they did mention this in the RWBY roundup. They did mention that, like, it's hard to develop these characters emotionally and mentally when the end of the world is happening, right? So, like, you have... Cinder basically won. Salem has 2 relics. Atlas is underwater. Like, even if they didn't fall, if they made it through Vacuo, they don't have any time to process anything that happened, because while the world's ending, we got to keep this train moving. Keep it moving, buddy, right? Like, compartmentalize that shit. Don't worry about it until later. And it's like, they can't. Like, you really, after something major like that, especially, they took the fattest of L's. The kingdom fell, both relics were lost, Penny died, and they all fell into like this void. They pretty much need a chance to like process this loss and figure out how they're going to come out of it. But it's hard to do that when you have another kingdom and another maiden and another relic and Tyrion and you know, Tyrion and Mercury, who are kind of the antagonists, on top of whoever else is going to be helping them out in Vacuo. Like, you really need like a pause moment. What I'm curious about is, does time flow the same way on Remnant as it does in this fairy tale world? Because if it does, then it's like, how long are they going to be in this realm? Is how long they're going to be in this realm, is it going to feel impactful if they're here for, let's say, like 3 IRL days? You know, like Salem just dropped her whale and a ton of forces to get 1 relic. I'm sure she's also going to need to recoup. So I'm actually interested. I'd really like it if time here was like static, but in the real world, it's like a hyperbolic time chamber, right? Like 8 minutes in Like a minute in the hyperbolic time chamber is like 8 hours in the real world. I would love something like that, because when Team RWBY and company go back out into the world, it's not like Salem immediately assaults Vacuo. She's got to recoup. She's got to figure out her new game plan. And, she just lost her whale. She just lost a ton of Grim Forces, but she got what she wanted. She lost Watts. She lost, I guess she just lost Watts technically, but and a little bit of Neo for the assistance that she provided. Oh yeah, she lost Hazel. Yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, she lost Hazel too. I keep forgetting. I'm like, Hazel was always a good guy. No, she lost Hazel. She lost Watts. So she can't. I mean, she has a relic, but she also needs. I mean, Ozpin. Hold on, let me think about that. Yeah, she would know how the relic works too, because Cinder would tell her. So she has a relic, but I don't know what she's going to make out of it. And I feel like she has to shore up her numbers too, and recoup and figure out what's next. So if there's been a couple of months, because you also have to realize how long it took for them to get from...
Friend.
Oh.
Am I really your friend?
Someone subbed to me on Twitch. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think they even know that. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so even from volume 4 to volume 7, where Salem finally showed up, they still went through that whole entire training montage of a few weeks or even a few months. And Salem didn't just immediately show up, right? So I feel like there is going to be a bit of I feel like there is going to be a bit of a pause for Salem. So that would make sense if time flows a bit longer. So let's just say 3 months pass in the real world when Team RWBY goes back. That means Nora, Ren, Winter, everyone is Ozpin, Oscar, everyone's gonna think Team RWBY and Jean died and have been dead for 3 months while they're figuring out their next game plan before Salem just completely rocks their shit. And so I feel like it would be a shell-shocking moment for all of them to be like, oh my god, we thought you were dead. And the time, the amount of time would back up that feeling emotionally for those characters, even though for Team RWBY it'll feel like a couple of days. And yeah, so I don't know. I just feel like it would be really interesting to see how things develop in that regard. It would be Crow too. Yeah, Crow would think his nieces are dead. I wonder if he would have to tell Tai Yang that. Also, if Yang, if they oh my god, I can see it now, bro. That would be so sick. If Crow tells Tai Yang would have to tell Raven or contact her and be like, Yang's dead, and then Raven would have to confirm it by ripping a portal to Yang. But if the portal doesn't work, it's not because Yang's dead, it's because she's in another dimension. But because she doesn't know that, it's gonna confirm to Raven that Yang actually died. Oh, that would be incredible. That would actually be insane. I want that so much. And then Raven watch 2024 or 2025 or how long that takes. And then that would literally everyone would be convinced that they're dead. And then they just come back and they're it would literally just be oh my god, I can't believe you're alive. And then everyone's just super emotional and they have to explain the whole situation and everything. And then boom, we're back in business, baby. You know? That would actually be goated. So I hope that happens. I really hope something like that happens. That would be so sick. That would be so awesome. But let's round up the rest of this. So we have the Queen of Hearts, or this kind of looks like a gender bent version, like the King of Hearts, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously the red pieces, the white pieces, the chessboard flooring and stuff like that. Very interested to see that dynamic and how RWBY kind of goes up against them. So we got that. we have, obviously, I only showcased the Cheshire Cat here because we already see Little and Alice being Alex, and, you know, Ruby obviously falling. I'm wondering who the person through that mirror is. I don't know if that's, like, who Alex becomes after she leaves the world of, you know, Ever After, or if that's, like, a family member of hers or something like that. Those are, like, my only two things. It's either someone she knows, maybe the... It could be Alex's old self, or something like that. So there's that. We got the caterpillar or butterfly caterpillar, who, like, represented, like, evolution, growth, development, change, all that stuff. Don't know if they're going to be a good person or a bad person. They looked like kind of threatening in the trailer, so I don't really know what role they're going to play when it comes to, obviously when it comes to the story. They're, like, freaking taking a hit from their hookah, like, I love that too, because the caterpillar does that, and they made sure to have that present here too. So I really, really like that. That's a pretty cool follow-up. And then we have this blacksmith, which I don't know who or what this could be a reference to, if this is something completely original. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, they look like they're kind of mechanical. They look like almost like kind of like a mechanical puppet of sorts. So yeah, I'm interested to learn about this one's story, or like what they are or where they come from or whatever the case might be. The doorknob, maybe? Well, we did see the door, technically, right? Like, we saw the door in the... Hold on, where is it? We did see the door. Hold on. We saw the door, technically, in this section right here. There's no doorknob, but there was a... Oh, wait, yeah, there is a doorknob. There you go. There it is. The doorknob was featured in the intro, by the way. So, it just doesn't talk, apparently. Hephaestus / Vulcan. Yo, that's the Iron Maiden. Yo! That's kind of pog. Not gonna lie, that's kind of dope. This shot just looked really cool. Like, the spiral effect, the colors, like the pink shattering color effect is pretty cool. I just grabbed this screenshot just because it looked cool. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk about how cool this looks for no other reason than it looks cool. It's just like a nice little in-between, like, transition moment between the blacksmith and the caterpillar to the Jabberwocker and Neo. But yeah, and then last but certainly not least, you got Neo and the Mad Hatter. Like, let's be real. This is clearly what they're, or partially what they're going for. We know that RWBY characters sometimes have multiple allusions and references to other characters. So, and that's also kind of trippy how it transitions from Neo to Alex in such a way that it almost really kind of makes you wonder, like, what significance Alex has with Neo, or vice versa, other than being a fairy tale that she knew about when she was a kid. And maybe even being able to meet the person of that fairy tale that she read about. But, like, again, I just think Alex and Neo... Not Alex, RWBY and Neo have so many, like, correlated moments in the intro with Alex, which makes me wonder if they're, like, how influential she's going to be for both of their developments as time goes on, you know? Yeah, there's a lot of parallels. And last thing here, too, hold on, let me... Okay, wait. Okay, I don't think... Damn it, I didn't put the picture here. But... Hold on, let me see if I can add... I'm going to add an image here because I forgot to add an image that I wanted to show you guys. Hold on, give me 1 second. OBS has gotten better since the last time I did this, to where now... I think all I have to do is drag and drop an image and we're good. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. just because it's a little detail that's easy to miss with this particular scene. I just need to see if I can grab it. Alex is adorable. I love her design. Like, I feel like that's a very, like, cosplay friendly design that's not gonna, like, break the bank or be impossible to replicate for people. So I really like that. I really hope we see cosplayers in future RTXs that like Alex. Also, Cal is literally over the moon for her design because she has curly hair. And there are not a lot of curly-haired characters that get the love and attention that she would like them to. So that's something that she really liked. So I'm just gonna drag this image right here. Look at that. All I have to do is drag and drop an image into OBS. Now, before, I had to do a whole rigmarole where I had to like go to add and then add image and then grab the image from my folder and then size it. But I just dragged it from my folder to OBS. So I love that they have been like improving that in the last 2 years. But she does have a little rabbit, like a little rabbit centerpiece on her dress there, which again, going down the rabbit hole kind of makes sense for all of that, considering she's a reference to Alice. But yeah, got a little bunny there. Yeah, it's also the year of the rabbit. This year is the year of the rabbit, courtesy of you know, Yao Yao and Genshin as well. But yeah. But yeah, it's just gonna be really, really cool, really interesting to see how. No Velvet though. I'm sorry. I just really look forward to seeing what she delivers and offers us as a character. She seems like she's going to be so interesting. And then again, Crescent Rose is on the beach. I feel like Crescent Rose, which has always been like Ruby's crutch to some extent, is just not going to be around to help her. And Ruby's really going to have to, you know, help herself now. Like I said, I don't know if she's going to see Crescent Rose again until the end of the volume, if at all, but I would be devastated if Crescent Rose does not make it back with the rest of them. Because throughout all the footage that we've seen, we haven't seen Crescent Rose on her back at all. And I know there's been very few full shots of Ruby in the trailers, probably for that specific moment. They don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I just wonder if Yang's going to get her arm back. Everyone's going to get everything that makes them feel whole, feel complete. And Ruby's weapon, her Crescent Rose that she built with her own 2 hands back before Volume 1, is the one thing missing. And it's just not going to feel right for her. She's not even going to be able to defend herself if need be. So I feel like that's going to play a role in her feeling, in how she feels, like how she feels inadequate, or another burden that she has to deal with just being defended by, despite being the team leader. You know what I mean? And that could get to her mentally. But yeah, that is everything for the intro, at least. And I'll leave you guys off with one more thing. Give me 1 second. Based on our current knowledge, when do you think the final volume will be? There's no way to tell because there is no final volume. There's only a like final like act. And it can take however many volumes that they feel that they have story to tell to get to that point. So like you can't really say for sure. If they have something worth telling, like a story worth telling, I couldn't have told you that we were going to Alice in Wonderland now and that this was going to take up a volume, despite it not being one of the, like, because naturally you would say 3 volumes for Beacon, 3 for Mistral, 3 for Atlas, 3 for Veil. I'm sorry, 3 for Vacuo, and then 1 when we go back to Veil for the last relic. And I would say 10 volumes, but you have this middle part volume that takes a bit of time. You had the Volume 4 transitional volume. You had the Volume 6 transitional volume. So, like, you can't really... I don't really know. I couldn't tell you. But I wanted to say... I'm going to show you guys this image here, and I'm going to say... I tweeted about this, and I said, we're going to get Raven Bronwyn in RWBY Volume 9. And I said, and I basically mentioned, the reason I know this is because do you have any idea why a raven is like a writing desk? I'm not going to explain myself. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you could figure it out. But yeah, I feel like, and then after I just mentioned that raven, I mentioned like that raven theory with like her portals and stuff. Don't be surprised. If it happens, I called it. And I was the first one to call it. Before any of those Raven Watch 2023 people came around. And then also, big shout out, as always. Always got to shout it out. Always got to show love and respect for the concept art. It literally looks like, it looks more like the show than ever. The artwork here, RWBY drawn to scale. That freaking Jabberwock is so much taller than her, and it's like squatting on its like, it's just squatting. It's not even standing at full attention, which is wild. But I love the falling one with RWBY there. I really like that one. But yeah, all of these look beautiful. Really good artwork overall. And wanted to continue to show those off whenever I can. But that is it. That is the episode. Those are my thoughts, theories, speculations, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas for RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 1. And we finished it in 3 hours, which was great. I feel like I could have finished it in like 2 if it wasn't for the intro. But we only go through the intro once for the debut premiere episode. So episode 2 and beyond will probably, I mean, depending on what we get to, obviously. But 3 hours, not bad. It's way better than like, I think some of my earlier volume episodes were like 5 hours, 6 hours, absolutely wild stuff. But before we end off, for those who don't remember, or for those of you who are only around, during certain pieces and parts of my RWBY experience, I think it was volume 7 or volume 8. I think it was volume 7 that I basically bought this Cat in the Hat book. Still waiting for this to be adapted into RWBY, by the way. We better see the Dr. Seuss himself as the Cat in the Hat. That'd be kind of pog. But anyways, I basically was like, I bought the Cat in the Hat book, and I should read one page at the end of every single one of my live stream discussions. And hopefully I'll be able to do a complete montage of all of those individual page readings in like 20 years. Actually, how long is this book? Hold on, give me a second. How many pages are in here? There are a grand total of 61 pages. So we need 61. We need like 60 more episodes, or like 50 more episodes. Whenever I started this, we need 60 more episodes worth of RWBY proper to get through this, which is at least 6 more volumes. So someone was asking earlier, how long do I think RWBY will last? Hopefully until RWBY Volume 15. You know? For better or for worse, I need to get through this some way, somehow. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where I left off. So what I'll do here is I'll pick a page where I think I left off, and I'll double check tomorrow. And if I'm wrong, I'll make it up to you guys. I'll read whatever pages I missed out. Okay, so let's see. Look there, the mat. Okay, I think it's this page. So we're on page 6. All right. I really hope I don't get, how old is this book? Is this within fair use? Is this within the public domain yet? You know what I hate, by the way? Off tangent, by the way. But I really hate how all of the media and things that we love and grew up with now and shit that I would love to be able to take advantage of is going to be available in 100 years to people that won't even appreciate it. Right? That's literally everything for all time. But we're in the best golden age of technology where people 100 years ago didn't get the chance to appreciate things like we can now. But now you're telling me that all the stuff that I would love to just take an IP and just do whatever I want with it. You're telling me that I'm not even gonna be able to live. I'm gonna have to live until like the ripe age of like 130. And that's even if I'm functioning as a human being at that point. to take advantage of public domain IPs that people 100 years from now are just going to be like, yoink, I'm going to do whatever. They're not even going to care. They're going to care about the stuff they're into. It's going to be true boomer mentality. They're going to be like, bro, what the hell? You watch RWBY? Isn't that old? As like, who cares? Like, what's RWBY? You know what I mean? Like, RWBY's going to be, 100 years from now, RWBY's irrelevant. I don't know. I think about that a lot, and I'm just like, I'm pissed off, man. I'm so angry. I'm out here trying to dodge copyright infringement and freaking DMCA strikes on my YouTube channel. Meanwhile, some freaking 10-year-old 100 years from now is just going to be like, I'm watching full anime reactions live on my Twitch stream with everybody, and there's nothing that the law can do about it because it's in the public domain. And I'm like, damn, dude. What a time to be alive. Am I right? It'll be owned by Disney. Yeah, it'll be like Mickey Mouse, dude. They'll just own it forever, and they'll just lobby every single thing to just keep things in their greedy clutches for all time. They're like, we'll never give this up. Mickey Mouse is all we have. If we take Mickey Mouse, what do we have? We'll just have a house with no mouse. Anyways, let's continue. And like I said, if this is the wrong page, I'll fix it next week. We looked, then we saw him step on the mat. We looked, and then we saw him, the cat in the hat. And he said to us, why do you sit there like that? Yo, bars? Yo, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself. He's just walking in the house like he freaking owns the place. Look at this guy. A real piece of work. Like, you guys better call it, like, who approved this book, man? Who actually approved this? This is lit. Like this walking, talking cat just walked into a house that he doesn't even own. And there are these children here that are like, I would literally just be like, I'd be mortified. Oh, I already read this part? Okay, hold on. Damn. You know better than I do. Jesus. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. God damn it. Y'all are getting on me. Okay, hold on. Let me try this page. Let me try this page. I know some good games we could play, said the cat. I know some new tricks, said the cat in the hat. A lot of good tricks I will show them to you. Your mother I will not mind at all. Your mother will not mind at all if I do. Then Sally and I do not know what to say. Our mother was out of the house for the day. There you go. Also, big red flags right there. This guy was like, I know your mother's not here. That's why I ran up in your house and I'm going to rob you guys. Dr. Seuss was gangster as hell. Yeah, also not out of context, please. I'm reading The Cat in the Hat. We're just a couple of years behind. I promise. It's all good, all right? It's rated. What's this book's reading age? It's a beginner book made for kids learning to read all by themselves. And here I am, a grown-ass man on my YouTube channel talking about RWBY and reading The Cat in the Hat with my community. All right, thank you guys for joining the stream, by the way. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun. Sorry that there were some internet like hiccups and delays and stuff. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the VOD too much. I don't want there to be like multiple VODs. That would be a nightmare because I want to archive this for people who are not able to watch it live at the time or at the moment. Also, shout out to the fact that the stream didn't get too bloated that we had to use slow mode. Also, we're going to do... Ooh, you guys remember the opinionated pointless polls? Don't think I forgot because I wrote down what the poll is actually going to be. So I'm going to put the polls up on Twitter and YouTube community post immediately after the stream. Just so, because I was running a little late and I was super fucking nervous to start the stream today. So I was just like, I was just beside myself. But for the return of the opinionated pointless polls, we're going to ask, what kind of milk do you drink? Do you drink red cap milk? Do you drink green cap milk, blue cap milk, or other, which would be like cashew milk or almond milk or no milk at all? Let me know. And I will put those up on Twitter and YouTube after the stream is done. Yeah, not the caps are different though. Well, different caps mean different things. So red cap milk means whole milk. Blue cap is 2%. Other obviously is like cashew milk or almond milk. I don't know what's green cap? I've never had green cap milk. I have silk almond milk. I actually transitioned to almond milk a couple years ago. 1%? Ah, I see. Jesus Christ. What's the other 99? Semi-skimmed in the UK? Yeah, I might not do cap then. I'll probably do what type of milk? Like whole, 1%, 2%, skim, non-fat, other, / I don't drink milk. Which means you'll never develop strong bones, I'm sorry. Which means you're as brittle as they come. You're like peanut brittle. Lactose intolerant gang rise up. You know how many people that I know that are lactose intolerant that don't give a flying fuck? And they were like, I shouldn't do this, but I don't care. I like cheese too much. Actually built different. Alrighty, but that is everything, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. That is the official wrap-up and conclusion to the RWBY Volume 9 Chapter 1 live stream discussion. I really appreciate all of the familiar faces, all of the familiar names. It's literally like time hasn't been in stasis for the last 2 years. Everyone is here. We're all kind of big chilling, doing our thing, and I'm just really, really happy that I'm still able to do this, that you guys are still looking forward to doing these and are entertained by them. And I hope it was entertaining. You know, I hope it was intriguing. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, or you guys took a few nuggets of information that you guys might not have earlier. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I think I'm going to just kind of chill and relax for the rest of the day. Super chats. I got through all of the super chats that I think I've seen so far. Yeah, Janice mentioned the Ruby Chibi skit with the full Dr. Seuss skit wearing Oz's hat. I think I remember that. If that's season 3, I haven't seen season 3 of Chibi, so I actually don't know if I know that one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. My reaction, again, for those of you who might not be in the know or might not realize it, my reaction will be posted this weekend. It's going to be posted on Saturday, 1 hour after episode 2 goes live. So episode 2 goes live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. My reaction will go live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern as a premiere, so people can watch it together live in the chat at the same time. And that's how it's basically going to be. It's going to be just like Volume 8 and Volume 7 and Volume 6. The episodes will go out 1 week later. Because I know some people are like unaware or think that we can't do reactions anymore. We still can. We just have to remain within the proper guidelines. But Jeff Yetter got back to us, and he basically gave us the green light, okay, that it's okay to do that. So we'll just be 1 week behind for the reactions, and obviously mine will be up early access on Patreon as soon as they go out. But yeah, so again, thank you guys all for the love, for the support. Patrick Horn Jr., welcome back, my friend. Thank you for the $50 super chat, last minute drop off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. Hopefully, if you guys joined late, the VOD will be up in like an hour or so. It does have to process the last 3 hours, the last 3.5 hours, I should say. So if you guys missed out on it, make sure you guys check out the live tab, because YouTube changed it to where your videos, your shorts, and your live streams are all separated in VOD form. So make sure you go to my live tab if you guys want to watch the live stream if you missed it, or if you guys want to go back to a certain point or whatever. But it's 7:15 p.m. right now, my time, so someone asked in chat. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for hanging out. I really hope you appreciated it. Enjoy episode 2. My reaction will be up this Saturday, and I will see you guys next week, next Tuesday, at 4 p.m. Eastern for episode 2's discussion. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Take care, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.